Welcome back. We've had upsets, we've had tears, but we are through to the finals. It's a best of 13, so remember, when you guys are guessing what you think is going to be coming up, it's going to be first to 7. So don't forget that. I'm sure we haven't, but it is Tornado Rocks who had an amazing 5-0 start to this offline tournament. And a little bit different, Wombats struggling through with 4 wins in a row to end up 5-4 against the Castle Crew. So we have Tornado versus Wombats. What's your opening predictions?
I think Tornado should have a slight advantage. They are really an all-star team. They do less mistakes, like Wombats can get caught, as we saw. And they are stable, much more stable than Kazna is. So I believe there is some advantage to them. Only thing that can go in Wombats' arms now is the fact that actually they played a really hard game now. So everybody's pumped up and trained up because Tornado had a slight training practice. So they might be a bit cold and that can catch them off.
And Dizzo, welcome back. You've shrunk a lot since Hector was here. You have been in this situation. However, it's a best of 13 coming up. Okay, you've just had a really good 4 wins in a row, but you're pretty exhausted. You've just had to fight through quite a lot, and, well, they're a bit more rested on the other side. Is that going to play any part in it?
Yeah, they're still stressed from the match. Like, they have to relax for a bit, like, get back to the match, focus on the match, like, decide on what they're going to play against them, how they're going to play it, and they should be able to make it a close match. It's going to be really entertaining.
That it is, but that's what we think. What do they think?
Oh well, it's kind of pretty balanced at this moment. So I'll give it a few more moments to like ripe out. So people head over to facebook.com/WGLEU. Well, and get your votes and simply predict the exact scoreline for this matchup. Remember, it's a best of 13, so someone has to have 7 rounds at the end. So no 5-0 predictions. Well, if it's a 2-0 prediction, it has to be 7-0 or 7-6 maximum. You know the drill. Just wanted to mention it right here because, yeah, don't want you guys to complain. And of course, our predictions, our sweepstake with the predictions has of course closed, like predict the Season 2 champion. And by just quickly scrolling through it, a lot of Wombats on tanks and a lot of Kazna crews are in here. So the odds for Wombats on tanks are pretty good, actually. So let's see how that goes sooner. But we also had our offline sweepstake where people had to predict the matchup, the upcoming the final matchup. Of course, we got the ballot box back here before the second semi-final ended. So I would say I'm just going on.
Sure, let's go ahead.
Okay?
Let's see who managed to even remotely guess who the final 2 teams are.
Exactly, because we'll be giving away 2 Type 62s and 15 bonus codes. I'm not mistaken. I will choose the 2 Type 62 winners. Or hopefully we'll be running in here screaming of joy.
I want to hear a scream.
First winner is Benjamin Schleier. Congratulations. Let's hear if I hear something.
Come on, someone responds. Anyone in there? Or has he gone out for a coffee?
Yeah, probably yes.
Okay, next one.
But he will stay. I have the emails. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's a name I really can't pronounce. Ilya Graborsky.
We have Mojo who'll be able to read
Mojo.
Ilya Grabowski.
Yeah,
come on, someone respond in the crowd.
Congratulations. But well, the other 15 bonus codes we will do later. As you guys see, quite a few people got it right. And thank you for participating, of course. And yes, we still have our cheerful contest running.
Yes. So be happy, be proud, and write something down, or should I say draw something down. Right, so we do have these 2 teams coming up. You do know them, and we do have, of course, Tornado Rocks. And they're facing off against Wombats. So these 2 teams are incredible skill. They are veterans, most of them. They have come from basically when the league has started. So 2 years ago, they've been on the scene, at least most of these players. Season ranking _1, and they came into this as the #1 seed. They took 5-0 off of Ding, looking strong.
Yeah, really well played. They take a 5-0 and Wombats struggled a bit more, but like they're playing really good. They managed to shut down Ding on every map, on every position. They just outplayed them and they're looking really good for this match.
Yep. What do you think there, Mojo?
This is really a mashup of strong players, as we said. We can see on Tornado side, players that were originally coming from even Hellraisers and such, people who played on grand finals.
Annihilator, Diador.
Annihilator, the biggest damage dealer of school, who came there and he's biggest damage dealer here now. And then we have Virtus, who played in more or less Wombats in more or less same lineup all the time with really slight changes. Only Warsin, who is actually now in Tornado, and it's a constant grudge because of that, I would say. So last season, Virtus won the finals, and I bet Tornado does not want to repeat that. So this will be a clash to be remembered.
Absolutely. So that was Tornado. Let's have a quick look at the Wombats if you forgot their faces. The last time you saw them, they were miserable. Then they got happy. And here they are looking smug again. So they are full of confidence. These guys got number 2 and they don't want number 2 again. As you said, last season they performed a lot better. So they did win and they want to win again. They finished second, though, to Rox. As you just pointed out, they need to do something here, because I don't know, it really seems to me that Tornado Rocks were way stronger, or more solid, should I say, a bit more firm.
Whatever they did, it looked just like a standard procedure. They didn't show anything too much except of few goof-ups like Diador's shooting. I would say everything was pretty normal, even something like new. I didn't see anyone play with 3 TDs on Himmelsdorf attack like they did. I'm expecting to see some clash on city maps a bit now, because on open maps, Tornado is a bit stronger. So Virtus will probably seek their chances there. I'm really anxious to see the map pick very soon, because they cannot avoid that much now. There is much more to be played.
I believe it doesn't, because of how many maps are being played, it doesn't matter too much. It's the order of maps that's important, because we are going to see every map, I believe, isn't it? For this best out of 13. We've got 7 wins have to be done. That means you have to go at least to 4 maps. So I guess there's a chance if it wipes, we might not see 1
6 to 7 maps.
Yeah.
So
we're going to maybe see Ghost Town, maybe?
Could be, yeah.
You reckon?
Maybe Virtus banned it as Wombats banned it as first map. Could be they banned it the entire season.
Yeah.
Could be. Maybe they have something prepared for them.
I think they're not that desperate.
Does anyone at home like Ghost Town? That's the thing I want to see from the chat. You guys like Ghost Town? I actually enjoy it. When I play it, it's much more, I don't know, I find it nice to play. I'm not a pro, but when I play it, it's 77.
I like to play it in that
mode
to get a T22 tank like you played. It's called the Steel Hunt and Domination. And it's really fun because it's a small clash map made for competition, so enemy meets really fast and you can have a lot of fun. And there, it's usually used in later hours when there is less players, so you play 10 and 10. And it's constant brawl. Like you see enemy after 10 seconds. So it's pretty good. And you have a lot of corners to kite.
Yeah, it's a lot of corners. There's actually quite a few levels. It's really, I think, broken down to 3 levels, isn't it? You've got the center area, and then you've got the outer area, then you've got the lower area. So it's like 3 different areas that kind of divides the map. Lots of corners, lots of rubble. It's kind of...
brawl is everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Flanking maneuvers as well.
Yeah, plenty of. You can even boost on the map. You can go around with medium tanks. Everything is possible. You can play TDs, you can play RT. All the kind of tanks are possible to be played.
So now let's talk about some tanks. Actually, I was wondering myself. I haven't gone up the American tree very much. I've come close to the T57. But other than that, I'm not really close to tier 10. So the E3 and E5, by name, they must be nearly the same, right? But what's the difference between those 2 tanks?
Okay, E3 is a tank destroyer, lead tank destroyer in American line. It doesn't have a turret, but it has the biggest armor in a game of any TDs. That's why it's used, and it has huge gun depressor for a TD. So that's why people actually use it. You can see it on Himmelsdorf on specific tasks to harass enemy below, because it even worsens the chance to get penetrated like that. Because E3 with his 300 armor, when you are shooting him from below, it's like mission impossible. You just run away. And
we
E5,
saw it on Ruinberg as well. We saw it today on Ruinberg 4 times at least.
On Ruinberg E3?
Yeah. Oh no, that was E100. So that was the E100 we saw. Not E3, that was the E100.
And E5 is like that's like classic American tractor all-around machine. He's not brilliant in anything, but decent speed, decent gun depression, decent armor, decent reload, decent everything. So you can use it in all-around situations.
Yeah, we're seeing it much on many more maps, but usually in
It's a utility usually in defense, mainly defense, because you can rotate and use HP and do whatever, but you cannot really attack because it's too slow to go around left and right. So if he doesn't have to move that much, it's okay.
So is it fair to say the players out there who enjoy playing all-rounded tanks that don't have any glaring weaknesses go for the
It's the safe bet.
E3, and E5 if you're a tank destroyer player who loves heavy armor, good gun depression, good hold down positions. So there you are, guys. If you are looking for your next tier 10, that is options you have if you like the American big tanks. And what about you, Dedzen? What's your favorite tier 10s?
Favorite tier 10, yeah.
Let's say German tanks or
German.
something?
Oh, German.
Because I don't think we talked about the German tanks.
No,
Everyone
We had
started to
French
play
tanks.
Germans first. Germans.
We had a lot of German tanks played. In fact, I think the first few matches, some people in Twitch were saying, like, why all the German tanks? It's like the first few battles were pure German tanks. Although that was from Ding, I think.
Yeah, it's like E100 is like alpha armor. It's just so amazing to play with. If you manage to use it efficiently, if you manage to use the alpha like Ding did, they just outplayed them. They shot them in the middle. They put a lot of damage out. They have a lot of HP. Also the mouse. It's really effective if you manage to use it in close combat or use its armor efficiently. And also, even E50M, it's heavily armored. You can use it everywhere. You can like tank a lot with it. You can bounce a lot. And it has a nice alpha.
That's fair play. Now, we were talking before the show, like the sort of classifications you could name, the job roles you would have in a pro team. Because every map is slightly different, but when you play that map, you have certain roles. For example, we talk about brawling. Certain tanks have a brawling role where they're going, and their job is to not only lower the DPM, effective DPM of your opponents, where you're blocking shots, the enemies are trying to shoot into you, and you go in front of them. And they hold their bullet, they hold their shell, because they don't want to shoot you, they want to shoot the guy at one hit behind you. And now they're lowering the DPM because they're not pressing the trigger, they're holding a shell. And that's what the brawler's job is, to absorb the damage, lower the enemy DPMs. But then you've got DPM guys, support tanks, a second row. We're talking tanks with any autoloader tank, really, apart from the bad chat.
It's actually quite changed now. We can say brawlers, biggest brawlers now are maybe Chinese 113 after the buff, and it's used mainly on open maps now because that thing goes 50 kilometers per hour. It's a heavy tank on steroids. It can brawl against mediums, and that's really unprecedented. That's why we see it actually so much, and with Alpha 440 and low reload it has, it really pairs up to mediums. But when it comes to city, it's a different situation. You can always see a lot of FV heavies, and they are used in really close combat, though they don't have much armor. Why? Because their gun is laser precise and it has a reload of 7 seconds. 7 seconds for 400 alpha with precision. It's really high. You can see, you remember when Diodor came and he missed 3 shots on FV, but the FVs didn't miss a single one anywhere. Like they were shooting like all the time. So yeah, the roles completely changed. Before we had dedicated, okay, IS-3 is gonna do this, T-32 is gonna do hold down. Now everyone is using different tanks for a variety of things. So we have almost 40 tanks that are used now. Before it was maximum 10.
Yeah, so we're now seeing a massive variety of tanks, and the classifications are still being developed. So if you have any good ideas on that, let us know, WGLEU. But the next battle is ready. The finals is here. So we do have Tornado Rocks versus the Wombats. And to take you through it, we have Uberschaus and Laughter.
Thank you very much, Dorjan and Co. It is time for the final showdown. The final boss match is here. We don't quite know who the final boss is. One of these two teams is, but it's going to be a cracker nonetheless. A best of 13 extravaganza. The last time we got to have one of these was quite a while back, of course. I'm pumped for this one. And look, honestly, at the end of the day, all the pre-playoffs and the grand final structure leads to our top 2 teams being in the grand final. So you can't really argue with that.
Exactly. I mean, we've got Wombats on Tanks and Tornado Rocks both going to the grand finals even before this season finals occurred, just in terms of the points they got in season 1. The online stage, the offline stage, you know, all adds up to those two going through. Third in line is Cancer Crew, so it'll be interesting to see if they manage to get through in some sort of wildcard slot. But of course, that kind of information is still up in the air. We'll have to find out at a later date. But Continental Rumble, the last time we saw these two, Tornado was a 7-5 victory to them, and it was one hell of a game. Obviously a different format, 754, the last 754 tournament, basically. And I think right now, though, Wombats is probably a little bit more stable than they were back then. They were actually starting to get better again as a team. But Tornado Rocks is also better because they've basically solidified their roster completely.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Vorsik on the screen there. He was with Wombats on Tanks for a time, and now, of course, he's on the other side of the battlefield. Himmelsdorf is going to be our first map to start with, and it will be Tornado Rock start on the attacking side. And you can see they're going to go with a very similar strategy, Oliver. We saw that Ding were unable to break the hold that Rocks managed to put together. Great work with the triple TD, getting on in there. And now the Wombats, it's their chance to see if they can do anything about that themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if Wombats has actually come up with a tactic that can counter it. Now, I think the analysis does, they said it pretty well. Wombats has just come off the hardest game of their lives, basically, and also the biggest comeback we've ever seen, basically, on the WGLEU. In an absolutely amazing round. They played pretty solidly. They had a few mistakes. It looked a bit shaky, but individually they were superb. Wombats Tornado completely stomped Ding. 100% just stomped them. I mean, Ding played badly on every level, as we said, basically. So Tornado Rock is, too rested, I feel like. I feel like they haven't really been challenged yet. And Wombats is all fired up, pumped up, and ready to go.
Yeah, and that can make a very, very big difference here as well. Tornado Rocks need to get into gear pretty quickly. I mean, for them, it's business as usual. It'll be Armageddon here in the 1390. He'll be heading up towards the hill. I mean, all they can really do is play. There's no other way to warm yourself up but just get in game and hope that all goes well. Now, normally by this stage, someone like Armageddon would have spotted something in the middle of the map, but you can see the Wombats haven't really sort of committed to pushing across that one at all. They're not trying to get someone down in G7 or G8 or have any 8-line control. They're sitting back on this a lot. I mean, even their lineup, I mean, you've got the Leopard of Karitsa there, Stefan's favourite tank. So, that kind of tells us maybe they're not really wanting to brawl head-to-head so much.
Well, at least at the start, Wombats have really done what they've done all season. The interesting thing is that Tornado Rocks have gone for the standard tactic with the FV and the T110E3, whereas we've seen a lot of teams be successful by just pushing onto Kusok, taking him down in the IS3, and then dealing with the Leopard at a later date. So I think Tornado Rocks, they have set plays. Obviously, they've done their research, but I don't think they're going to move past that. And if we're honest, looking at the season results, both these two teams sitting about high 60% in the online phase, Kazakh Crew sitting in the low 50%. So technically, this should have always been the final, right? I mean, just based on the statistics, based on previous results. And yeah, I mean, I think at this first juncture, at least on Himmelsdorf, it should be 1-1. You can see they're actually doing a little bit of a split push down south with some of the tanks from Tornado Rocks, and up north with Wombats with a few tanks. So yeah, it looks like they're going to push finally. Going to put positive on the corner, send Armageddon across as quickly as possible in the AMX 1390. But good timing with Wombats. They are reacting quickly.
And that Tornado Rocks has to go, well, wait a minute. There's no one on the corner. So where are Wombats sitting? I mean, quite clearly there was a shot coming in there as well. Diodor would love to set up here in a few moments, but he want positive to go first, of course. It's such a big tank. I mean, kind of reminiscent of the KV2 in some ways, I guess, with just how high up it is. We're going to see them just try and work this corner a bit. Coca-Cola can do some damage. You see Diodor there actually copping a hit behind Positive. And Positive as well, getting hammered there. So Wombats on tanks, well, who would have thought they might actually have an answer to this now. But Positive's got himself dug in. You can see Breakneck, Kusok, Coca-Cola all there on that corner. All staying out of scrutiny of those tank destroyers for now, but also making sure that they're well dug in towards the northern side of the map.
Yeah, they'll have to take care of Kusok, of course, if they want to cap, but they also importantly need to get a lot of tanks across. And the thing is, Wombats is just saying, we want to stay here. We want to stay held down with the IS-4. We're not going to worry too much. So Tornado Rocks are slightly concerned. And, Ding did get reasonably close to being able to beat Wombats in this position. They just played for time, send one tank in at a time to try and get the resets. I think Tornado Rock's probably a little bit tunnel vision. They're probably their only weakness. 8-line push is where they're going to come from. Lusik, Vorsik, and the FE215B as well in the background. SC Dino playing that one, surging forwards. And very early spot, though. Very, very early indeed. Leopard in the right position at the right time.
Yeah, we see Karitz himself was lit, but Loosequell being seen. I mean, that is another bit of a bonus that the Leopard can spot that kind of stuff out. The Breakneck has been seen on the D-line as well, and he has to be careful. He was even Diodor up on the hill. It's actually kind of low, so that hold on the corner, Diodor's just backed away from that one and trying to go for something else here. And Wombats are staving this at one off fairly well. Luciquel fires a shot, does connect with Breakneck, and Vorsik keeps himself around the corner, doesn't show himself yet. Wants to ideally get into the fight with a full pool of health, and it's going to allow him to get as many of those shots off as possible. But you can see here Diodor looking for the right angles here as well onto the FE215B. That shot's going to drop quite a lot. As you can see, comes through, doesn't connect. And Tornado Rocks haven't done a lot of early damage. It's actually Wombats with their health point going forward.
And they've also got a Batchat and a Leopard just flanking around very fast. That Leopard is only really used by Wombats, and its speed and laser precision definitely the two factors that make it work. You got the Batchat, and you got the Leopard, and you probably got the TVP. They're the three fastest medium tanks in this kind of situation. So the interesting thing is that Wombats thinks they can hold Tornado Rocks at bay until the Leopard's up the hill, until the Batchat's in a position maybe to push the 8 line, which is obviously a risky move. If Tornado push now, they can get the overmatches, or at very least, they can get control of the hill or use Dido to kill that tank. And Coca-Cola just takes so much damage, it might even fall.
Well, I have no idea why he's moved out from there. It must be some reason, but to do so, he's become a one-shot himself. He could have sat back on the corner. Maybe he felt the Tornado Rocks, the push was a little bit closer to realization than it actually was. But, I mean, Bishop now will push forward. Coca-Cola just a one-shot. That's a big error to be making there. And he's been, honestly, looking a little bit weary all day. I have to hope that he can sort of fire up here as well. That is the last thing that Wombats needed to try and hold. They need all the health points they can get. You see Just Cause spotted Luciquel and FC Dynamo, and even Vorsen might just punch around the corner and belt him, but I think we will see a little push in his direction on the 8 line. The Leopard 1 will be there for the Batchat, so we'll see. Kusok there as well, looking towards positive. I mean, shot towards the lower glasses will definitely be nice, and that is the Waffentrager getting belted on down. Nicely done there. Vorsen dropping. Dido also fairly low. Karitz and Breakneck haven't really taken too much damage.
Yeah, actually playing really well right now, Wombats, but Breakneck just getting absolutely chunked down now as Pavel also trying to do as much as he can to block for his team, and Tornado Rocks are down quite a big amount of HP, and Kusok is hanging on somehow.
Yeah, 2 big tank destroyers out of the mix here. Kusok trying to side scrape as much as he can and turn the shots of Armageddon away, but he's not able to. Karitz will come from the back though. Of course, that laser precision is going to have to hope he really strikes a chord here on Tornado Rocks as he comes through. The cap's still 18 seconds to go to Bishop Breakneck, and it was Pavel, but he drops down to FC Dynamo, who's been able to do a lot of work from that position. You can see they're not even looking at him right now. I think it was FE2 and 5Bs, they're just trying to go for resets, but FC Dynamo, he's not going to let anyone stop him. He's going to come around, and it's pick after pick here. Wombats are starting to fall away from it, but just cause he's in there with the autoloader, he's going to be able to pick up Armageddon, and he's behind Positive as well. You can see that Armageddon's trying to get in such a position that Just Cause can't get behind Positive. Not going to matter though, as Coca-Cola gets the finish. Karitz was there, but Tornado only have 2 low health tanks to work with.
And Coca-Cola was in a great position there. And SC Dynamo is going to have to really clutch right now. He's going to come around the corner, but he's got to deal with an IS-4 on the left and a Leopard on the right. And right now, Wombats definitely ahead quite substantially. I don't really see how they can come back.
Well, maybe not such an unbreakable strategy this triple tank destroyer one has been. It's a great opening for Wombats here. Maybe something they've stratted, but they've just been solid, pretty much indomitable here. As FC Dynamo has to be careful. He knows there'll be people looking at him from all angles. He does slot a cheeky shot towards Karitz, and the penetration was almost always assured there, going towards a Leopard. And the Annihilator now getting flanked from behind. Just Costas needs the one shot. His mobility wins out, and the Wombats take the first round away. It's a strong start for them up against a strategy that we, until now, thought was far harder to break.
Well, I think Tornado Rocks didn't really commit for the whole strategy. I mean, they didn't send Armageddon in that MX-1390 into the capping position, or the FE215Bs behind like they did against Ding. What they actually were concerned about, I think, is the fact that there was like an FE215B, an IS-4, and another tank there. I think Kusok was in the IS-3 there in the front as well, and maybe one more, just aiming towards that T110E3. And maybe Wombats would have been able to get the click at the right time and be able to take down a couple of tanks that went across. But yeah, I mean, we saw, for instance, the flank from Just Cause and Karitz. That was really the Hail Mary. I mean, they took down the Waffentrager for basically nothing, managed to do some good damage through the windows as well. A bit of a comeback with the FE215Bs, but I felt like Tornado weren't aggressive enough. As soon as they saw those 2 mediums on the flank, they should have probably just gone forwards. But they lost too much, and pretty easy stuff for Wombats at the end there. Great work by the Batchat and Leopard. 100% won the game, not just at this stage, but a bit later on when they have to take down Positive, who's playing that T110E3. And great tank at the beginning of the match, but as a brawler, no way, Jose.
Look at that free damage for Just Cause there as well. I mean, Oliver, he's a dangerous player already. You put him in a Batchat and you give him free damage and you allow him to outmaneuver his opponent, and he just turns into an absolute nightmare. And then there's Karitz as well, a player that we say, you know, oh, he's not playing a tier 8. This could go either way. He plays that Leopard really, really well. We've seen it from him on Muravanka as well, I think. And he's got it nailed down. The guy played a fantastic game. This was a bit of a sad story here. I mean, Wombats was still up by about 500 hit points at this stage anyway. Or if not more. But Dynamo comes through, can get the cleanup, but it's all about Karitz and Just Cause at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Those two just managed to hold up for so much time. And I think Breakneck does a good good job here. And I think the creates in the Leopard was definitely the most important factor. I mean, he was so fast on the flank. He was running all over the place, making the plays, doing the damage. And the highest damage leader for Wombats in this game was Just Cause, 3,395, basically 3.4k. Great work by him. The Annihilator played it well on the flank, but you can see Vorsic in that Waffentrager, the guy that caught out second lowest on the damage count.
One shot.
Definitely the most significant reason why Tornado lost that.
It's really awkward to try and get that Waffentrager into a good position. Sometimes you get caught somewhere in between. In fact, most often that happens, and, well, you don't get much damage done now. But we're going to see Rox bring one anyway here. We're straight into the second round. This is quick stuff. I like it. And we are going to see Wombats go on the attacking side now and actually not going for any tank destroyers whatsoever. It is still a 110 E3 and a Waffentrager Alpha 100, though, for Tornado.
Yeah, they are going to be picking up those two bigger tanks for sure. And we've seen them successfully used in the past. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, Wombat's definitely better on the defense in general, but Tornado Rocks actually looked better when they were attacking against Ding. Like, they looked better altogether. Didn't have as a solid strategy, but they had a better way of playing the map. They were a lot more aggressive and winning those exchanges fairly well. And they have pushed down in towards that southern side. That's Tornado Rocks, just trying to get some presence at the beginning. Wombats pushing the hill. And I think Wombats has a good chance going 2-0. I think it's going to be 1-1 if I was really going to use logic, but Wombats look better on Himmelsdorf.
Mate, what about that Castor crew versus Wombats and Tanks game implies that logic works anymore?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, guys, both teams have the same color camo, which is not intended. So just to obviously avoid confusion, the blue side is Tornado Rocks, even though the Wombats have their camo on right now. But speaking of the Wombats, they're on the hill. Drawing together is a fair force here now, and they're still going to have to get through the 110 E3 and IS3 duo in the northern side. It could be easier said than done here, but Wombat's going to go anyway.
They're going to go straight down the hill, plonk themselves in that cap. I think the IS3 has been spotted. Interesting that Tornado Rocks are going for that same tactic as Wombat, or at least the same tank. No one's actually good spotted on the cross. Povel's still there. These three are going to start creeping forwards. Bishop there in the background is going to go hold down. And yeah, they've only just started being spotted, so the reaction needs to be very quick. You can see Wombats have a lot of tanks, Tornado, sorry, have a lot of tanks down south, kind of out of position. They need to be flanking as quickly as possible.
Vorsic didn't quite get the angle on that first shot, and now he'll probably have one as well. It's going to be straight into Coca-Cola to start things off here. And even Armageddon seems to be on the move. Maybe a peek out to try and get some shot, but one shot is all Vorsic gets. And he has damaged Coca-Cola's engine, punched straight through the side of that tank there as well. A fairly considerable amount of damage being done. Nonetheless, Wombats are in position. They're ready to make this push, and this is kind of classical Himmelsdorf play, actually. No funny business with weird tank destroyers in weird positions. They're going to work in here from this 7 line, but one has to hope that they can stave off any sort of flank, because you know that D line is where Tornado Rocks are going to go. They're going to try and start a cap.
Yeah, they're going to start the cap now. Pressure onto Tornado. They got the right setup, though, with the Waffentrager and the T110E3 to push around. Just Cause getting caught out a little bit, I believe, by the MX-50B of Lucic, who's on that K-line. But it's not a big deal. I mean, 25 seconds until Wombats on tanks have this game. It has to be about that northern cap.
They have to push, actually, because the Annihilator got tracked and he was out of position. He can't come in. It has to be the Waffentrager of Diador, perhaps, to even flank. And I don't really know if I want to be having to flank solo on that particular tank. You can see the 50B and the Batchat are trying to get in position as quickly as they can. And this is Diador here as well. Big job for that man. Knows there's going to be a lot waiting for him around the corner, so he needs to get in there, get the damage done, and try and get out and hope to load up another clip. Now, while this is happening, Rocks are pushing over. They're taking a lot of damage, but now that is the Waffentrager getting it done. Kusok getting hammered from behind. They need to turn around. Wombats have to push forward. It might be a little bit too little too late. The Waffentrager has got all of those shots away, and Armageddon has fallen. You can see Wombats are still trying to stay together, but that damage is really going to hurt them.
So much damage, and Tornado Rocks can just flank now. They can use that Waffentrager. Still got a couple of shells in that clip. And FC Dynamo, you can see the FPT-15B and its HP, what effect it has. The Annihilator comes charging in as well with the 3 shots left in the Batchat. You might be able to find Breakneck.
Yeah, the Annihilator takes a glancing hit from Bishop, but it's not going to stop him from going for Breakneck, and he will get the finish. No, it bounces. That's not ideal at all. The Annihilator now is actually going to be on the wrong end of the fork, as it were, as Breakneck sits back. He'll be able to get the pick off. Just Cause is going to be there as well. Here's Luciquel coming through in that 50B as well. Another second line tank just to support the first. But Wombats, to be fair, they've sustained through this push. The flank came in for the Waffentrager. They were able to live through it for now, and they've got the picks. Tornado Rocks are down to 2 tanks.
And the Waffentrager, I think, is actually on reload. Lucy actually coming around the corner. Diador's really going to start doing damage.
Oh my god, and he's managed to catch these two tanks completely out. Just Cause has to cower behind the hull of Breakneck for now and try and stay alive, but I don't think Diador is going to let that prevent him from going in for the kill here, and this will be perfect stuff here. Lucequel is just caught up in this battle with Povel right now. A little bit of help coming from Karitz, but really how much? Good track on towards Lucequel. I think he repaired that straight away. Karitz needed one more track to keep him out of it, but Lucequel at least is on reload. A good roll, it will be a finish here. Needs a good roll, didn't even get the hit. Now Karitz is left in a 1v2 against two of the scariest tier 10s in the game.
Yeah, he won't be able to kill them both. It's 1,440 damage that MX 1390 can do, and Diador's obviously got more than that, and Lucique will also add to that nicely, bringing him up to 1.9k. So it's going to have to be 2 clips from Karitz. I mean, the guy's always the lowest damage dealer for Wombats on tanks. He played a really good game against Kazda crew earlier, and probably one of the reasons why they won. I mean, Kazda was picking up the artillery, and Karitz was kind of countering it, the RU-251, in some of those matches. But it's going to be super hard. He's going to go for it anyway with the 2 seconds left, being aggressive, and I think Wombats will just be around the corner, ready and waiting. They are on the defensive side, so they don't need to be necessarily aggressive going forwards. And yeah, I mean, once those autoloaders came off reload, that's when you could see Tornado Rocks with 2 basically full HP tier 10s just come back into the game and get the kills.
Quite rare that you see a 50B and a E100 actually back up to each other and just sort of, you know, for protection against the 1390. But Karitz be floating like a butterfly and hopefully stinging like a bee. If he can actually pick off that 50B first, there is hope for him still. It's a big job for the guy. And I mean, with that as well, shot should coming his way in a moment. Oh, cheekily enough, gets a hit in. Bit of damage, but he's more concerned about the 50B right now, or at least trying to isolate these two. It's possible we see a poke from Lucequel. No, he's staying safe. I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds of Karitz actually getting the one shot towards Lucequel here? Is that really reasonable to expect that could happen?
No, I mean 300 damage is really the highest roll the MX 1390 can do, and it's very unlikely that Lucequel will go down in one shot. Very unlikely. And even then, I mean, Diador's got his back there in line of sight, so he can easily just push down and kill him. Time is of the essence, essentially. I mean, Karitz has got 3 minutes and 10 seconds to kill these 2 tanks or cap, and he might just go for this western side cap. Obviously gives the position away and gives the game away, but he'll be able to cap, stay still, get the spots, and then run away if he wants to. But he's not. He's going to go aggressive.
Interesting here as well. Maybe hoping to bait. Well, he's a 1390. Like, what do you really do? He spotted Diador, though. That's something. Diador hasn't seen him. I wonder what kind of angle Karitz has on him right now. Probably not much of one, as Diador likely would just be popping his back end around that corner as we go to our super nice little first person there. So, I mean, we wouldn't really have much to shoot at. I mean, he should be able to penetrate the Waffentrager relatively easily. He actually has HE loaded here, Oliver. Yeah,
it looks like he wants to actually just engage that Waffentrager, see if he can kill him, and then move on to Lucique. But I mean, he'll have to kill the Waffentrager, reload,
a full
AP,
clip of HE here. I don't know.
And then, yeah, I mean, you can kill him with even a clip of normal ammo, but HE is definitely possible. But Diador, it's so easy that he could easily soak 1 shell in the tracks, no problem at all, and actually doesn't even get spotted. This could be a nice little play from Karitz. He is playing it logically.
Yeah, but HE, though, is he going to connect? He misses the first shot, although he does cop some damage now as well. He's trying to get the damage in towards Lucequel. He's trying to find those weak spots, but it's just not going to be quick enough. And a tough ask, definitely, for Karitz there. Didn't help that he had to take a 50B on without his APCR loaded. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though. And we go 1 apiece here as well. Himmelsdorf has definitely delivered so far.
Yep.
Great work from Wombats in the first round. The second was also quite close.
We even got awkward I5s when they completely miss each other. It's good. I mean, it's getting a bit of everything in this.
It's about the most emotion we get from Tornado Rocks normally.
Exactly. Cool, calm, collected goes a long way, as we saw with Kazda and Wombats. You know, if you can just don't have very much emotion in real life, it translates to the game as well, and you can just be an absolute beast. If you're just steely resolve pervades through your gameplay. But yeah, 1-1 on Himmelsdorf, as most of us thought, most of us predicted. It's very rarely 2-0, and obviously Tornado Rocks managed to pick 1-2-0 against Ding today. So that's Himmelsdorf done and dusted. On to the good maps. Mines, Prokhorov are up next. We can obviously have a look back at this replay. I think we could see, obviously, Karitz was trying to look for that Waffentrager. I don't know why he went forwards. I thought he'd just turn right and go for the kill against Diador, because he can't even do any damage with HE against the MX-50B, even when he goes
that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, it doesn't make too much sense to me, but maybe misclicked. Yeah, I think he did miss it.
No, because he could see the whole reload cycle. Though,
Yeah.
like you'd think if he really wanted APCR, he could have switched back to it like a couple seconds into the reload itself. He was hoping that the Waffentrager would show and he'd be able to just like blow him up really quickly, but he didn't know where the 50B was. So you always have to hedge your bets that way. He probably went looking a little bit too far.
Yeah, Lucy trying to keep his face away from the camera, or maybe
too famous for us, boys.
Trying to avoid the old sun. You know, I wouldn't dare to say he needs a tan, but it's going to be a good game. I feel like both these teams are on par. You could see then actually Wombats came pretty close to coming back, and you could see once they got the reloads on those autoloaders, they did almost come back. But then the reverse sweep came through. Dido was on his, finally came back from his hiking trip in the Alps to join the game, and actually annihilated that IS-4 in a few seconds.
Both of his flanks. He had 2 flanks, and they're both devastating.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the Waffentrager is such a beast when you do manage to flank around. I mean, it's always used in those frontline positions. So we don't really rarely see it actually going all the way around the side or back of an enemy team. But mine's up next. It's, as I said, 1-0 after Himmelsdorf.
Yes, it's going to be interesting here as well. After this one, we may have a team go 3-1 up. That would be nice. A quick 2-0 for either side will be good here. We've seen that Wombats look exceedingly good on this today. They decimated Kazna Crew. Kazna Crew walked right into their hands. Now look at this double TVP. If they push towards the hill, Tornado Rocks will be absolutely bat poop insane to push up.
Yeah, they would. There's just no point. That TVP has been already deadly. And it's caught out Elian actually in the previous match. And I think you told me that they actually didn't tell him to push up the hill. He just pushed up on it.
No, Elian didn't want to go up the hill against the TVPs. And I think someone did, and he just did it. So he knew. He said, if I go up this hill, they have 2 TVPs. I could try. I'm probably going to get killed. And, well, for whatever reason, he did it anyway, and he got wrecked.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's the way the cookie crumbles. It's a gamble, and Armageddon, he's been okay. I mean, he's not been particularly a standout artillery. I have to say he's been okay. He's hit the shells. He's one of those guys, if you need to bring artillery, it gives you a massive advantage like it does on mines. Yep. You bring him, he's okay, but it doesn't make a big difference. But Kusok shooting there against Forsig, that gives his position away because there's really no other place Forsig can get shot from apart from on that plateau. So maybe there's going to be some counter-battery from Armageddon. Yeah,
well, we just saw Armageddon there just look around a little bit beforehand after we went away from his view. So I wonder if he's looking towards that 155-51. The M40, M43 does have a 9-meter splash, so doesn't it's not an accurate artillery piece, but maybe it just doesn't have to be. Good little spot by Just Cause. Sees the double TVPs up on this island as well. He isn't lit himself. He'd be crazy to fire, but a good amount of information being passed back here to the Wombats. They know they probably don't really want to go to that island. I mean, that's why Tornado Rocks gave up the hill in the first place, so they could have presence here.
Yeah, they did. They completely gave it away, and they knew they could hold it, though, with the IS-7. Forsig is the main item of interest for Kusok. He's just going to shoot towards him as much as possible. And you can see the Batchat is just trying to spot him. He's a very sneaky Batchat. You can actually spot him no problem at all. But yeah, that was a bit careless, I felt like. Forsig can go further forwards. Kusok should have waited that another couple of seconds to actually make that shell and try and hit that IS-7. But yeah, I mean, Tornado Rocks, they're on the defensive side. Double E50M in the back.
Oh, here it is.
Still more counter battery trying to come from Armageddon. And Kusok's actually on the lower side. He's not on this plateau.
Yeah, he's not quite sure yet.
Oh, he is.
Kusok, it is actually out the back, though, I think. Yeah. He's moving as well, moving in between shots. He hits Force in that time. Very small relocation for him right now. I mean, obviously, artillery doesn't have armor, so you don't want to get hit. Kusok is up nice and back as well. So you can see Armageddon just trying to keep an eye on the rest of the map, see if any trees are being knocked over, any fences are being destroyed. Because from the sky, you can see that, even if you haven't spotted the tank, and it's a dead giveaway.
Exactly. That's what you do as artillery. As much as you want to be shooting, as much as you are shooting, you're just for the information game. You look for those broken items, and that's generally why you see teams trying to avoid them. Vorsic receives another shell from Kusok, and I feel like eventually Armageddon's got to go for the kill here, because otherwise his team's going to get chunked down. Pretty close there. Kusok's probably an artillery view, so doesn't realize perhaps that shell actually almost connected.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see from where he is. The top-down view obscures a lot. Now, those 2 TVPs just unleashed a salvo of blind fire in the direction of Just Cause. Only one, actually, of those shots connected. So Just Cause doing all right for now. Just holding them in position. That's all he wants to do. And Wombats take more control now of the hill. You can see Breakneck gets up there. He wouldn't mind a little bit of a decent angle on towards that island, but having that control is good. Breakneck just needs to keep his head down as much as he can. You can see the E50Ms are positive, and Luciquel are actually sitting back they'd like to brawl out just in case someone tries to make a push towards that part. And again, now Armageddon has spotted that TVP. He's off reload. This could be nasty. It is. It's a big hit there on towards that TVP. And, you know, Tornado will give up that he'll happily. Now Breakneck being spotted, taking damage from those E50Ms. And he's got to be very, very careful, this man.
Yeah, he's got another 40 seconds until he might die. But now it's the counter artillery. I mean, this is the logic. This is the logic of these two teams, right? They're going for the beginning play while they can. They're trying to get an advantage at the start. There's no imagination in terms of, you know, trying to go for a flank or anything like that, or trying to come up with a different tactic. They're just working each other down. They're not giving away too much. I think with Tornado especially, they're very much aware that Wombats' best map by far is Mines. You know, absolutely amazing, you know, how good Wombats are at Mines. So they're playing it a lot more slowly, trying to make Wombats make the mistakes.
I feel like we see Kusok relocate here specifically to try and make things hard for Armageddon.
And also to kill the TVPs.
Yeah. Armageddon backs right up towards that fence there, up towards the building, sorry. So he's safe for now, but I don't think Kusok really cares too much. Also, I think that Kusok might have angle on the two E50Ms as well. So he's actually a decent spot there as well. I mean, getting some good battery on towards those mediums. Yeah, you can see where he's looking now. He wants those E50Ms if he can get them. Going to zoom in and see what he can do. I mean, that'd be good. I mean, that was spotted, of course, out by the TVP who was up on the hill earlier. Important to note that Vorsen's also very, very low. He's taking a lot of harassment from artillery. Positive could be in a bit of trouble here. I think the shell will come thudding in just a moment.
Problem is that the game will be given away if the shell comes in, right? Positive knows that if the shell is anywhere near him or even hits him, that Kusok's relocated to that right side. There might be a push in for that right side. So Tornado Rocks will send the two IS-7s in the middle, and that's why you can see that 113 is positioned slightly forwards for Wombats.
Kusok refusing to fire until he has confirmation here as well. You know, he's looking dead at Positive. He's going to make the shot as well. Positive, though, woo, able to avoid getting shot there. I think the one man are just in behind him. Yeah, so he knows now that the artillery is relocated, though. There's no other reason. You can see now Armageddon also just moving around a bit, see where he's aiming, maybe towards the kill. He wants to get rid of that TVP who is spotting those E50Ms, but the Brawl Force might be coming forward here. Karitz and Bishop moving up on this eastern side. Kusok behind them, and Wombats now going to take the fight to Tornado.
Yeah, Wombats have to go forwards. They're on the attack. They've only got 3 minutes and 55 seconds to do 10,613 damage to Tornado. It's not going to be an easy ask. The E50M's going to get spotted to see if Kusok can hit.
Nice hit straight on towards the top there. And that's a good start. Positive. He's going to be slowed up a little bit now as the 113's move into position. They're going to try and finish off Borson, but a couple shots missing isn't ideal. And Just Cause as well has to be careful. There are two E50Ms there, not just the one. Kusok only saw one when he managed to get that shot in, but now they're both lit. Just Cause will get behind the bunker. The pillbox, as it were, just trying to take his time. Cheeky little peek out. Unfortunately, he's punished for it. Peeking again for whatever reason. He knows Luciquel's looking elsewhere. Diador has fallen. Now Povel as well, being looked at by those E50s. And now as well, Armageddon, focusing on the middle of the map. He knows there's a 113 that can push off towards him. He's going to try and lead this one as well as he can. He does hit that one, tracked up, and got some damage. Both these arties are putting on a show.
The Bishop and Batchat can just push forwards and take down the Z50s, right? And Coca-Cola is just going to keep FC Dynamo at bay, which means he can't peek. I would say Wombats are quite far ahead in this game. I still feel like, for instance, Kusok needs to do a little bit more damage.
He's hoping to land a shot here as well. You can see he's reloaded for a couple seconds and he's probably just going to let rip immediately. You can see Positive there as well, just around the corner. I think the shot just dropped short and there wasn't any splash because it's a Lorraine 15551. If that was an M40, M43, there would have been a bit of splash damage going across, but still it does look like the main force of Wombats can work down Lucic on their own. The Annihilator's on reload. FC Dynamo's trying to do Coca-Cola in the middle. Might get a win there. I'll tell you what, it's pretty dicey here for Tornado Rocks. They've lost 4.
They've lost a lot more now. Povel goes down, that's their 5th. The Annihilator does find Karitz in that 113. So there's going to be a little bit of retribution here for Tornado Rocks, but HP is close, but basically nothing else. I mean, you've got, what, Breakneck, Povel, Just Cause, all one-shots. Obviously, Kusok being near a one-shot as well, or a one-shot in the artillery piece. So haven't got a lot to play with.
Ooh, almost. The 113 does take a hit directly from Armageddon, but Bishop will still get to finish him off. Now the Annihilator pushes out. Can finish Coca-Cola here if he lands the shots, but Coca-Cola going to wait for reinforcements. Then Kusok delivers in the form of the Lorraine. Does get the final shot, and Wombats do take mines away, at least in the first round. It's a good opening from them here, no doubt about it. They definitely know how to play this map.
They're fantastic on this map. I don't think there's any team in the world who can actually challenge them at all. I saw Na'Vi and Hellraisers play. I'm not impressed particularly on mines. I think they're better on your Ruhenbergs, Himmelsdorfs, Ghost Towns, that kind of thing. But Wombats undoubtedly a great team on this one. You could see they played logically. I mean, getting Kusok on that right side, there was a couple of mistakes. For instance, Breakneck on the hill, probably should have waited a little bit longer. so he could get the spots on the E50s, and then Kusok could have shot, and they would have, you know, made their lives a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, as soon as the 113s pushed around the corner, and Just Cause went forwards in the batch at first, those IS-7s were so useless from Tornado Rocks. They just got wrecked. They did nothing. Because there's a 130 in front of them in Cretes. There was two 113s and a TVP just destroying them, and no one else could peek. The E50s couldn't peek. They were useless because
they didn't do anything in that game, really. They got stuck in that corner, and despite Kusok shooting at him for the most of that round, I mean, they were still sat there, weren't able to come forward, weren't able to go back. We understand, of course, they're set up there to stop that kind of push, but with the amount of presence that was had there for the push of the 113s, they are so scary. The fact that it was brought up on the desk as well, these 113s, the fact that they could brawl with a medium is incredible, because normally, obviously, the rate of fire for mediums is what gives them that upper hand. But they can go 1-to-1. They've got the speed as well. Yep. Incredible stuff. Kusok there as well. He had a big game. You know, we said Kusok needs to do more damage. He has delivered.
He's very questionable in artillery these days. I mean, originally he was actually replaced by Las Vegas 777 on artillery back in the days because he couldn't perform so much. He was okay, he was average. And then he was put onto a main tank and he played a little bit better. I still consider him to be the weaker link of Wombats. Seriously, I mean, Cretes, okay, like he's a bit of a tactical genius. Like he's the reason why Wombats is actually starting to perform again. You know, why they're one of the best teams in the world. But Kusok is that guy, right? Who's like pretty similar in terms of skill as Cretes, but not quite as good and doesn't have that tactical genius aspect, you know? Like, but a very good game from the artillery piece of Kusok. Fantastic work, stepped up, 3.6k, hit all the shells he needed to hit. Very straight line stuff from him. His team played around him. They deserved that win.
We often see Kusok drop back into the IS-3 when he has to in some of those rounds as well. On Himmelsdorf, a great example of it here. But now we're going to be on to the second map, Hero Mines, of course. Still, Lorraine being brought out here actually for the side of Tornado Rocks, interestingly enough. Double 113, T10 coming out here for the Wombats as well. They're looking good so far. The question is, though, can Tornado steal this round away?
I wonder if those T10s are going to do the same thing they did last time against Castle, where they push forwards aggressively, depending if the other team have got the hill or not, and then just played around in that defilade, trying to actually control the island area, the left side, the 1-2 line. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, keep your eyes on that, as they did against Kaz the crew. Tornado Rocks, looks like they're kind of petering off left, right, and center. The FE215B is a big stack with positive going forwards in the batch chat, pushing along towards that 2 cap.
This is your gold standard nowadays as well. If you want to push the hill or have any chance of contesting it, send the TVPs up there. We used to have a very funny situation where batch hats would push the hill and neither would be loaded, and we'll be like, well, g'day, like, can't shoot you, you can't shoot me, here we are. But breakneck here on your map. Just up on that island as well.
Aspect ratio at all.
Yeah, like, I don't know what we must take the cap of it off his screen or something as well, but it's so weird to play like. But I guess,
140, 1440 by like 700.
But you're trying to, I guess, replicate your settings at home as much as you can when you come. That's why Ilium plays windowed as well. It's the same thing. So it's fair enough. It's not uncommon, I suppose. It looks weird. But there's FC Dynamo, the Annihilator, moving up. Capture already underway over on cap point number 2. And the Annihilator does get heavily damaged, pushing up. Just Cause up on the hill, trying to make it costly, and he does. He drops down. Now Povel head-to-head with FC Dynamo. Still got 2 more shots to follow, and maybe the 1v1 might be won in the end by Dynamo, but nonetheless, Povel looking healthy. Tornado Rocks not looking to have a real mastery of this map here. Povel forced to back away, and FC Dynamo sets up shop here, right in this position. Artillery now, we're looking. See if the shot comes in on towards Povel to finish him off. I don't think Diodor connected, and now Koritz is going to come in and reinforce.
FC Dynamo is definitely the biggest pain here for Wombats right now, because he can just get great shots onto the back. That's Koritz going forwards and actually sets him on fire, takes him down. Unbelievable. I think FC Dynamo didn't expect that one. It's kept Wombats in the game. It's a 5 versus 5 situation, and you can see both teams trying, well, at least Diodor trying to get his team back into the game or slightly further ahead with the artillery pieces. And they're trying to flex back from where they were, but there is a TVP.
6v5. Povel back behind the building, and Armageddon on the capture point as well. So he's been reset a couple times, and Diodor just went down as well. He must have been spotted towards the northern side, and he's off the map now, and things are going to go from bad to worse for Tornado. They got the health points, but they're just the one actually, just one tank behind, lacking that artillery. These 2 FE215Bs just trying to cap on their own, but there are so many angles that can be exploited here. See in the south, I think that's probably Koritz there as well. Gets the reset in, nails that one straight towards his FE215s. Luciquil as he's back turned as well. He's a bit vulnerable. You can see Armageddon going to try and just protect that weak spot there by backing up himself.
There's only one direction which Wombats can actually shoot. I mean, they can only shoot Just Cause, so they can shoot Koritz. So they're kind of screwing themselves there, but the resets are just going to come in back by back. Just Cause getting two beautiful shots, 1.5 seconds time between shots. That's what makes the TVP an absolutely monstrous machine. As you said, you might as well just take 1.3k damage to the face and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, see the shots coming in towards the top of the turret there as well. Well aimed. A little bit of a drop there on those shots, so not always easy to connect at range, but Karitz as well peeks out, gets his reset. Wombats have all the cover over this they need. I mean, really, the bat shot over on towards the island, that's positive. Once he gets off reload, he's got to do something here, and so does Vorsic, because those two tanks, they're caught there, and this is positive now. Keeping Karitz's head down, a couple shots in, only one connected, but Karitz really playing a lovely role here.
Karitz just really putting the pressure on right now. I think he's definitely the biggest damage dealer. Karitz can also get the resets again and again. I mean, you got north-south positions, which basically makes it impossible. Karitz could, you know, get taken down, and Positive has another shell to make and doesn't
he did the other track.
And I feel like Karitz has not got any repair kits, could cause issues later on.
Yeah, Just Cause can reset from where he is too. Just Cause isn't being threatened, you know what I mean? That's the thing. It's only Luciquel firing at him. Just Cause will always spot him because Kusok is above those two capping tanks, proxy spotting him through the hillside. So Just Cause comes off reload. He'll have that in time. He comes forward, has a shot. Bear in mind that bat chat as well now on the bottom is on reload. So, I mean, Wombats and tanks have resetting opportunities here, and those FE215Bs are already going to stay alive for so long. I mean, look at them, both under 700 health. Just Cause there, wanted to go for a reset. Karitz has been forced back by Positive now, who's off reload. Positive can get the finish, and this is really important. What happens now from this guy, from this tank, is everything right now to Rox if they want to win it. And an easy cleanup as well as he came through. Now Just Cause has to get the reset. You better believe he delivers. Vorsen off on the side of the island. Can't do a whole lot. Positive needs to push the hill and maybe get rid of Kusok, prevent the proxy spotting ability. Right now, Positive just has to make sure that he's safe to push across towards the middle. And there's Popper waiting for him. Little snapshot, easy as you like. Positive getting it done. Popper will fall down. He takes a hit now. He's a one-shot. He's got to be careful. 3v3. The man is on fire. Look at him just pick up Kusok as he moves forward. No more proxy spotting of those capping tanks, but with only one FV215 down there, Tornado Rocks can't afford to do it. The bonus for them is that they have an extra tank.
Oh, Bishop's actually Amarak. That's going to be a big problem. We were talking about this, you know, the 113, fantastic in every way, apart from its modules being extraordinarily weak, very close to the floor. One shell will simply just go through the tank and take out all sorts of things. And that's the big point here for Wombats. It's a 3 versus 2, but Bishop is Amarak.
Just Cause can't see Armageddon as well.
No.
He doesn't have now that proxy spotting tank up above to help him out. And Chinese tanks quite often actually have problems with their crew members and modules as well. It's just kind of the way...
I mean, they're copies of Russian tanks, and I mean, the Russian kind of war doctrine was, don't really care about the people in the tanks as long as we have an efficient machine which can, you know, do the job.
No doubt about it. Not a lot of protection there. Now, so Bishop has to back around. He must be so annoyed not having that repair kit. Positive has a crack at him as he comes past him. Now, luckily for Bishop, he only needs one shot to connect here. He needs to make a count. He needs to come around the corner and look at this. Positive playing this so well. He can actually take care of Bishop here. One shot through. Bishop just pushes straight ahead. He does get the finish, but he's a one shot now. He's been forced to give up so much to get that reset. And Armageddon still on the cap. Just Cause has shots ready, but he's been spotted by Vorsic now. It's either one or the other. Just Cause needs to finish Vorsic, then he needs to finish Armageddon, and he needs to hold out till Bishop gets there.
And Just Cause just knows Vorsic's there. Great play. I mean, the thing is, Just Cause is 100% for the DPM. He's got... obviously, vents. He's got coated vertical stabilizer and gun lane drive. So he's going for the DPM. He can't get to spots in the Armageddon or Vorsic. That's going to be a problem. But Bishop is going to just drop on top of him. He's going to go down, but he's going to get the reset.
Yeah, I mean, he should have the moment to hull over. Armageddon is not going to know. And Bishop is right above him here as well. Now he's spotted, but Bishop just pokes down and gets the reset. Nicely done. And even Armageddon can't fire back because there's too much of a threat from Just Cause. But Bishop does drop. Vorsen, I guess, studiously on the island, does connect the shot. And that was a blind one coming from Just Cause. No, not blind, sorry. But he couldn't get towards Armageddon behind the rock. Just Cause in a very difficult situation right now. Armageddon's not capping.
I would love to be Just Cause.
On his own, I think.
This is the clutch situations you live for as a player. You got two tanks. One's Amarak. One's at 198 HP. They're both one-shots. 320 damage that TVP can do. The only problem is the penetration at 310 with heat. But he can kill them. Cap is underway. One tank can cap for sure. Two will get it done very quickly. So obviously there's going to be a bit of a decision there for Tornado Rocks.
They can't afford to put two on the cap though. Their Vorsen's position is too important.
Exactly. So I mean, at the end of the day, Just Cause has to get the reset and avoid one shell from the FE215B, and then the game's his.
Now, the further out Just Cause swings, the safer he is from being detected, but also the more dicey it gets, the more important that one shot is going to be. It has over a minute to get there. Vorsen isn't going to ever help, so he knows he has a minute. Flat. It's not going to change unless for some reason Armageddon pushes off. So this is good. Just Cause is going to try and set up and get a spot around the corner. Will it keep him safe from Vorsen, though? That's the question.
Would it be funny if, for instance, Kreitz had just gone forwards in the T10 and provided some scenery for Just Cause to sit hull down?
Convenient.
But that didn't happen. I mean, definitely the play just didn't help Wombats on Tanks in this situation at all. 42 seconds left on the clock. He's got his friend there, TVP. He's not going to get spotted on a cross here. Vorsic will probably find it, and you can see one is aiming towards the north, the other is aiming towards the south, and Just Cause might as well just go for this one.
Can he spot from here, though? That's the question. I don't actually know if he can. There's a bush in the way.
That doesn't...
Oh, there it is. He's seen him. He's going to get the shot towards the back. In perfect positioning from Vorsen. Just Cause, should I say. He invested the time. That is going to be game. I mean, there's still a little bit of time left, but only over a minute here. And he sat up the back. Just Cause is still a two-shot. Vorsen is a one-shot. Oh, my Lord, his ex-teammate is completely ruined his team's chances at victory, and Wombats on Tanks on a direct trajectory to winning this one, going up 3-1. Just Cause just chilling now as well. Beautiful stuff from that man. Managed to hold on, played it safe, played it smart, knew how much time he had. Vorsen can't cap in his own, so Just Cause just chilling.
Yeah, Just Cause can just sit there. He's actually going to get the kill on Vorsic, no problem at all. Next shell goes in, and it's going to be a 2-0 on Mines. Wombats go up 3-1. Incredible stuff on that map, and I'm pretty surprised. I mean, Vorsic was just sitting there the whole time. He played so standardly, did nothing at all at the end. Didn't manage to kill Just Cause. Didn't protect his teammate in the cap.
Nope.
And, you know, in that position, he can shoot the north fine, but he can't shoot the south because, you know, there's a bush there, there's a rock there. So perfect stuff. He just goes past that bush, gets a shell, easy stuff, logical. But to be honest, Wombats had got a massive advantage by that point in time. Just who was positive in the bat chat, he managed to kill Kreitz, because Kreitz screwed up with heat,
Yep.
hit the tracks of the bat chat. And then we had, I think, Breakneck in the TVP, missing his first shell, and then Positive getting a great shell onto him. So, I mean, to be honest, Tornado Rocks actually fought their way back into that game. But at the end, Just Cause just makes it happen. Perfect play from him.
So, I mean, this here as well is just a bit of a replay of what Just Cause was doing up before we had that clutch sort of situation for him. I mean, this is, you know, this is Positive pushing forward.
No need to aim, boys.
Yeah, no, yeah. What the heck is up with that? He snapshots everything.
The thing is, he had 2 shells, right? He's going to reload it very soon after that. He's going to reload regardless. So he might as well just fluff the first one. There's a certain percentage chance he'll hit in the center, or, you know, that tank is fairly big. It's not a big, particularly long range shot. So he might as well just go for it. Second time, he'll go for the actual aim. But this is really good play. I love this from Bishop. Had a really bad finals, and often he doesn't play well at finals. But he just plays no respects. He goes forwards. He knows his one shot. Great play by Positive so far. He just goes through this house. I think Positive screwed up here because Bishop has got heat ammo loaded. It can't go through walls. So actually he could have just gone back, maybe played it for a little bit more time. But of course, that bat chat is slightly taller than the wall.
And how much can you really give accolades to Bishop, though, when it was a low roll from the bat chat that actually, well, not a low roll, but a lower roll than possible. You know, it could have died. Bishop could have just pushed forward into that one, and we'd be saying, what an idiot. So, I mean, yeah, to be fair, he had to come forward.
Look at that damage.
Beautiful.
From both those guys.
Okay. Positive played really well there. I mean, his flank was quite crucial. When that T10 of Kreitz was actually just a one-man army. Really was an army unto himself there up in that south side. Setting up, it was getting resets. He knew he could poke forward, get a reset back away. And we know that the FE215Bs, they're pretty high health tanks, but over time, they got worked right on down. Almost 2k for Kreitz T10. Can't fold him there at all. Diador, the Annihilator, however, not so much luck for them as well. Diador got spotted early on, I think, and pretty much got eliminated there. And the Annihilator...
He got taken down by the TVP of Just Cause.
That's right. And the Annihilator, they're not so flash for him.
I mean, that's going to be a 93% win ratio for Wombats on Tanks on Mines. 93%. I mean, is that even heard of? I mean, okay, Wombats had 100% of Prokhorovka in one season, but this is unheard of. These guys are just unbeatable. Tornado Rocks, probably the best team in the world with Na'Vi and Hellraisers and Kazna, but come on. 2-0 against them. Insane stuff.
And now Prokhorovka we go on to. We did see the take picks just before. And some interesting stuff brewing for you, ladies and gentlemen. Tornado Rocks bringing the double tier 9 Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. Basically, that's a big-ass gun on a Panzer IV chassis, if you couldn't tell. Tornado Rocks now will be working their way forward. A couple bad chats here, and FC Dynamo in the back. We're pushing up, and it's Wombats to start on defense in the red.
Yeah, Wombats have a point advantage to actually work with right now, so they can afford at least one round. Obviously, Kasna had a similar mentality and it didn't work out for them, but aggressive start here for Tornado Rocks with the double batch at Object 140. Breakneck just skirting his way around that river, see if he can find anything here. And I think this, this game, they don't probably have that much prepared. I think it's more about just mentality and just trying to play off the back of the information you have, or more importantly, the information you don't.
I swear Breakneck has turned his graphic settings down just to feel more at home here. It's an interesting look there. He does get the spot though as well, but that bat chat backed away straight away, and even Armageddon came and gave a bit of a punch towards him now. He might be forced to challenge these bat chats. Armageddon doesn't seem to be showing too much signs of slowing down here at this stage, but at least Breakneck holding his own for the time being. This is a very important little engagement. Breakneck has to back up. Only 250 points of health. Could be trouble as Just Cause as well gets hammered on his way through. It's a cloud fiesta for these Wombat tanks. They've just, I don't know, run into each other all of a sudden. They got caught up, and now Tornado Rocks is free to pick them to pieces.
Yeah, Tornado Rocks are just going to be able to punish. With that Waffentrager on the hill, they're going to be able to do so much damage to these tanks. Two of them, actually. The DPM is pretty insane on those things, so Wombats made a massive mistake pushing over the train line.
No doubt about it. Diodor and the Annihilator are going to have a field day over here. They're not well armored, but they've been put in a good spot. A great position, in fact, to use those guns to deadly advantage. And now Tornado Rocks have just that. About double the health points of the Wombats and tanks, and it's only going to get worse from here. The Armageddon coming through, picks up Povel. Those Waffentragers just pounding away at the top of that hill. Yeah, they're going to take damage. Yeah, they don't have much armor, but they've got such a nice gun, and they're going to keep those heads down. Karit's fancying poking over, so is Kusok, but Vorsen's going to get there as well, and the Wombats are going to get surrounded and taken down.
Yeah, Vorsen's just going to be able to clean these two up, no problem at all. They actually tried to do a similar thing against Kasna to come back into the game, where they were just peeking and doing damage across this southern side of the map with the Object 140 and RE251, but it's not going to be enough. The beginning of the game was just terrible for Wombats. Obviously,
so bad.
I mean, Breakneck going on his own, unsupported, got spotted early on. They knew they would lose Breakneck for nothing. They tried to push over the train line, tried to take down Positive. Positive's hull down that IS-7. You're going to bounce that front of glaciers a lot of times. Doesn't matter what angle you have, especially with heat ammo, which has no normalization. So, yeah, that was game over as soon as they pushed. Those Waffentragers on the hill, punching 590 damage into the side of those tanks, game over.
I think Vorsic wanted a redo of the high five there with old mate, but Diodor too busy focusing on the game here. But this is it. This is a mess. Like, this is... we see Wombat. I almost said Kasna. What a surprise. I'll be the one to mess this up too. But Wombats push in here and just surrounded. The double Waffentrager up on the hill. The double Batchat off from the side as well. Wombats have funneled themselves into the middle, only to be walking into just a concave setup here for Tornado Rocks. They receive the push, and then they deal with it accordingly.
Yeah, they just easily dealt with it. No problems at all. Very straightforward round. And it's one of those rounds where you fight so hard for the previous one, and then you just have one like this where your decision's completely wrong and you throw it, and it's like next on the agenda, next
let's
round.
Get that one out of the way, boys.
Yeah, let's just get Prokorovka out of the way. It's not a good one. Of course, Castle won almost 2-0. It was a 1-1 against them. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like if Wombats want to win against Tornado on this map, Tornado being the faster team, Wombats being the slower team, very passive, very, playing off
brooding,
the information, etc. I mean, Tornado Rocks is the only team in the league who's actually got a real positive percentage win ratio on the attack. They've got around 54% win ratio on the attack.
Good segue. Positive up the top there, 2.8k damage for him. And I mean, well, yeah, a lot of damage being done. It was a fairly quick affair. That would be pretty important round going into tiebreaker scenarios, by the way, because I reckon that might even have been quicker than the earlier one we saw between Kasna and the Wombats. Don't quote me on that one, but very close. We see there as well, Just Cause not doing much. I mean, the Wombats really fighting. They're already caught in the trap. There's not much they could do. Steve Irwin had the Wombats tied up, thrown in the back of the truck and off to the zoo.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a stinging few games for Tornado Rocks, though, I feel. 3-2. I'd say Wombats is playing the better World of Tanks in all. Heimersdorf, I think they played a better couple of rounds. Prokorovka, we've only had one round, but I mean, it was a bit of a throwaway. Mines definitely is Wombats map. But we got best of 13, so it's best to 7.
Best of 7, yeah.
Yeah, best of 7. We could have a tiebreak as well, which is going to be Mines, so we might reverse back to that one a little bit later on. Still on Prokorovka, we got Muravanka, Ruin, Steps, but Proc up first, second round. Now Wombats' chance to attack.
Karitz now moving forward. This is reminiscent of Wombats' second round on Prohorovka. Karitz did much the same thing. He goes forward and then he angles off towards the eastern side. Let's see what he spots here. That'll be pretty important because a lot of rocks are pushing up and already a spot. So the 113 being seen now. And Karitz already backing up. He knows if there's a 113 here, there's probably quite a few tanks, but he's only seen the one. So how much information now are Wombats, willing to bank on? After only seeing one tank, they still want to come forward a little bit here. Tornado Rocks have time to set up without really being spotted at all. I don't really see any names in yellow here. Yellow names mean that tank has been spotted. Shots are coming out as well. Still, these guys are keeping their heads down for the most part. Blind shots, in fact, they are. As you can see now, Vorsen being lit. Bishop also spotted out. Luciquel moving towards the hill. There will be a medium tank there for Wombats waiting for him. Breakneck sat back in the bat chat as well. Luciquel needs to be careful.
Yeah, Lucic really needs to be careful that he doesn't overpeak the situation in the I-251. But, of course, if Breakneck does go for it, he'll be able to, he'll fall very quickly to that tank. So Breakneck also can't play particularly aggressively in that situation. But it's a bit of a Mexican standoff. Both teams sitting on that right side next to Eastern Village. A bit of a play for the hill. But now Wombats realize, okay, with the heavier lineup of Tornado Rocks with the double 113s, probably not a great idea if we just sit around this area because they could just come charging straight through. Lucic now in trouble.
Yeah,
big mistake.
Picked up, spotted, I think, towards that closer edge of the cliff and didn't realize it until it was too late. Remember, there's a delay between being spotted and your bulb going off. Karitz, though, looks like he's going to suffer the same fate on the other side of the map. Diodor and the Annihilator looking to pick him up as quickly as they can, and they will do just that. So both teams losing an RU251. Now the Wombats starting to converge towards the middle of the map. They see Vorsen, they see Positive. FC Dynamo in the back corner, they see him too. But Vorsen comes forward, he clips the back of Povel as he tries to punch towards Positive. Good little attempt at an overmatch scenario here for the Wombats. They only have to worry about the Object 140 off towards the side for now, and Positive moves forward in towards his demise. Great pick by Wombats. Now they've got to hold on.
And Armageddon actually is completely out of position. Kusok has a better DPM and the more HP, so he can take care of him, no problem at all. And now it looks like Tornado Rocks want to try with the comeback.
Yeah, the cavalry has arrived for Rocks. Let's hope it's enough. Might just be, actually. Diodor comes over. Not much damage being sustained by these tanks here. Just cause of Breakneck are able to sort of fire from a distance, but Breakneck is on reload. Can't fire right now. The Armageddon somehow alive with 1 point of health here as Kusok has bested him in that duel. He might just go and get the finish, though. He doesn't want to take damage for this. Taking damage for getting 1 health point.
And he also jumps off the cliff, which made him a one-shot.
Yeah.
Hashtag just Kusok things.
Yeah, not ideal, really. I mean, he could have left him there. He could have focused maybe on the tanks pushing in the middle. It's a 1 health point tank that you've already got proxy spotted. Don't know about that one, but that's all right. Breakneck came off reload. He picks up Diodor here, and we do have a 5v3.
Yeah, the Annihilator's also going to get taken down very quickly because that Batchat's on the hill, just doing great damage, actually just causing the STP as well, is being able to provide some good support. He's going to take him down. The Annihilator falls, and Wombats just need to hold on for a little longer.
Hey, great work. That push through the middle, the overmatch, getting on towards those 113, super important for them. They picked off 2 tanks that were on their own, and now they've just managed to go from strength to strength. But Coca-Cola, he's pushed himself out into enemy territory here, and he has to get behind the rock. A cheeky shot on the move towards FC Dynamo will keep him quiet for now. Vorsik's a one-shot. Wombats have the health points to play with here, as their opponents are very, very low. Probably 3 shots between them, and then we're done.
And FC Dynamo is actually tracked in that position. He's got to try and run away at some point in time. He's just absorbed so much, though. The heat ammo not being particularly effective at those tracks. Obviously, the tracks kind of act as spaced armor. But he's ammo-racked, he's really not going to be particularly effective, and Just Cause finds Vorsic.
Yeah, I might be able to absorb the shots, but he's always got to be kept in place, and Wombats keep this one under their thumb. Interesting Prohorovka, but we have a 4-2 scoreline right now. Wombats on tanks now. A bit of discussion, of course, for them, as that's our first 3 maps of regular time done. 3 more maps if we need them, and then a tiebreaker. This has been very, very good performance here from our reigning champions. The Tornado Rocks need to have their wits about them. They're 2 rounds down, heading into Muro. They've got to be careful.
Yeah, they've got to be very careful that they don't throw their advantage away. It's so important, even in the best of 13, that you get the 2 rounds under control, and then you can move on to the rest of them. So yeah, Muravanka next. Now, typically a pretty weak map for these two. I felt like, you know, if they could ban another one, they would ban Muravanka. They haven't really played it. So it's going to be a really interesting one, totally different way of playing the game. Ruinberg next after that, and finally Steps and Mines for the regular one, the last regular one, and the tiebreaker. I mean, we've seen 7 rounds from Wombats with a 57% win ratio on Muravanka, and we've seen a pretty similar situation, 8 rounds with 37% win ratio on Muravanka. So I kind of want to say guys, you can't play the maps you want to play. You got to play Ghost Town, Burovanka, because we haven't seen you play it this season.
We'll let it. Well, I mean, we'll see Muro anyway, so that's fine. Ghost Town, I think, pretty sure Wombats on Tanks. Yeah.
Haven't played a single round this season.
No, and I don't really think their paranormal studies are up to the mark because yeah, they ban it every single time. They're not even going to bother going there. To be fair,
like, I guess if
it's
you're
a shame because I think they'd have favoured them in some ways. I think about it.
But I mean, you've got to look through the list of maps, right, and see, okay, which maps do we like, which maps do we don't like, which maps can we actually train, which maps suit us, and then just see all the other ones, roll the dice. Okay, we're going to ban that one every single time the whole season. They've been pretty lucky to avoid it in the tiebreakers as well. I mean, in the last two matches.
They haven't had to go towards it at all. So, well, we won't see it now as well, of course. It's not going to be an issue. I mean, tiebreaker, I like it, to be fair, but again, there's always potential in that map for maybe lower teams to take the higher teams by surprise with some sort of crazy push. There's only really one team that I think has the real mastery of that map, and that's Utopia. And unfortunately, they're not able to be here. They can't play Ghost Town every map, every day of every match week. So that's a shame for them. But nonetheless, let's have a look at the replay here. This was that push towards the middle. Now, at this point, we can see the setup. This is after Wombats jumped on that 113. This is after Kusok took more damage than he should have. And this is just a cleanup, Ollie.
Yeah, they did such a good job here. They took control of that right side really effectively. They did some good damage across. But the biggest point came in when the two SDBs on the other side of the map, maybe I think they were expecting like maybe a Batchat to go roaming behind. But they caught out Creets in the RU251. They knew, then Wombats knew they could just push over the right side and get the overmatches. Armageddon was on his own. There was another tank there, I think it was an SDB, which they took out as well. So that's already two tanks, and they already took out Lucic, which was a massive kill at the beginning and a massive mistake by Wombats, Tornado Rock, sorry. So, I mean, it really did go all their way. Everything was perfect. The ideas were logical, standard play, you know, just good calls.
And you can see the Tornado Rocks guys as well. They saw the Wombats guys get up and just have a little bit of a chat. So they're just taking their time. They're sitting back then, trying not to go. I feel like Tornado don't want to be a high energy team. I think they like to try and keep it all in control and keep it all under wraps. I think even more so that could be said for the Wombats on Tanks. The only time I really see them get loud and leery is when they've already won the tournament or they're lifting the trophy. So right now, again, taking their time. I think, you know, Coca-Cola, that might just be his resting face. He's just chill. You know, he's not one to get overly excited. Nice to relax and maybe even lull his opponents into a false sense of security. But Tornado Rock's down by 2 rounds at the moment. Diodor, face glued to the screen. That man has obviously been very, very important for Tornado Rocks, amongst many other players as well. But as the leader, definitely crucial for them and has some excellent plays so far today. You know, Rocks weren't really tested so much in the first match. We were talking about this before. Who's at more of an advantage? Tornado Rocks having had a break but not really getting a proper warm-up versus Ding, or Wombats who've had to play one in a row and are already quite warmed up?
I think it depends on the team, really. I think the one time we see Wombats with a similar situation, they actually managed to play through and do very well. I mean, it's always the same complaint. Oh, we have to play twice, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, you know, such is life.
Someone has to play twice, bro. That's the way it goes.
Exactly. I mean, the space-time continuum doesn't allow you to play a third time if you've got the same two teams, but on a different you know, like, we're not going to go on a break. So some teams got to play twice. It's not necessarily a disadvantage. Quite often I find when I'm playing for longer periods, like I'd stop thinking about the game so much and play more instinctually, and I start playing the game based on muscle memory, which actually is better than just using your mind. Of course, there's some decisions which you can make badly, but then that's what you have a team captain for, like Creets. You know, there's a reason why Wombats have won 3 seasons in 3 seasons of the WGLEU.
Yeah, and they're hoping to make it yet another one here. It's
so
well,
last
really
time as well. I mean, both these two teams you see here will not have an opportunity to play the Wargaming League Europe again. Obviously, with the region rules being changed across, as you saw on the poll. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is the last time we'll be seeing both Wombats and Tornado Rocks playing, as the Ukrainians now count as CIS players. And yeah, they will obviously have to have you know, a bit of a stab at the old WGLEU and CIS, see what they can do there after this one. And maybe even finally break the reign of Hellraisers and Na'Vi, which has made that scene a little bit one-dimensional. And I guess NSS for this season at least has actually provided some real good gameplay. Obviously, they were Continental Rumble, and then we saw them, you know, right at the top of that table right now, sitting above both Na'Vi and Hellraisers, obviously with KR as well, so KF Kung Fu, sorry. But it looks like we're finally in game. You can see the screens there, 27 seconds until these two are ready to duke it out once more. Still, Wombats with the advantage of that 2 rounds on mines.
Ravanka is going to be our next map, the 4th one now for those keeping count at home. And the Wombats on tanks, if this were a best of 9, they'd be feeling pretty good, but it's not. It's a best of 13. And even 2-round wins here will only put them on match point. Double T110E5 for Rox, and we're going to see artillery being busted out here for the Wombats on tanks. Let's see if Kusok can continue to have a distinct impact. His Mines game earlier on was fantastic, over 3k damage, top damage from him. He really needs to connect the shots here, though, on the M40, M43.
Yeah, he really needs to step up for his teams. As you said, Mines was a great one for him, and so far artillery play has been pretty good from Kusok. Pretty heavy lineup from Tawny Rocks with the double T135, but nothing too unusual. Crete's going for a kind of middle spot, and I think we'll be seeing pretty, like, average play from these two in terms of, I mean, we've seen better play just in the regular season because, as I said before, they haven't really played this map too much. They have to play, otherwise with a band out because it's a best of 13. But Armageddon has to be careful. This M40 can do a lot of damage to the STB1. He's going to go for the shot. Doesn't connect it, might do a little bit of splash, and the Annihilator actually gets spotted at an early stage, might take some more damage.
Yeah,
but Just Cause, I mean, come on.
Quite a long way forward there as well, but Just Cause, yeah, he got absolutely slapped there as well. Not ideal at all. He's quite far forward, to be fair, and the whole firing squad of Tornado can look right at him. He just doesn't know it, that's the problem. Just Cause doesn't know where he's getting shot from here. Yeah, I mean, artillery shot towards Armageddon, bit of splash, nothing to write home about though as well. Probably just wouldn't have missed him by much, I think, but again, a bit more forgiving in the M40, M43. Gives you some splash. And the double T110E5 here. Now, you know, maybe these guys have learned a bit from watching teams like Oops and Co play on this map. I always thought they were decent at it. Bringing those big American heavy tanks at tier 10. I think this map has an attacking side bias, doesn't it?
No, defensive side.
Okay, maybe I think one point of the season it did, but that changed pretty quickly. Bishop in the T57 heavy, the tier 9 there as well. Still an autoloader, still packs a decent punch. And Armageddon staying safe for now from those artillery shots coming in.
Perfect time for Wombats just to go towards that cap as well. They got another 30 seconds until Kusok will have that reload. You can see the T57, not a tank we've seen so far in the finals, and generally teams favor the AMX50B, but it is chunkier with more HP and yeah, more armor in many areas. So
I hope I didn't call that a tier 9.
Tier 9?
That would be really silly if I said that. No.
Which one?
Surely. Yeah, no. Got to mix with the T54E1. Hopefully I didn't say that.
Thought it in your brain, so you basically...
Yeah, because we normally see the 54E1. We see it far more commonly than the 57 Heavy. It's quite interesting to see that now.
Yeah, we saw it from Tornado a few times this season on Ruinberg, but it looks like Wombats trying to go towards that cap number 2. I mean, Muravanka, despite being pretty open, it's actually a really methodical map. You don't see a lot of quick exchanges. Let's see if Kusok can finally land a shell against the Armageddon, but good avoidance by him. He goes backwards, but also turns right. So it's not an easy linear shot for him.
And you can quite clearly see on the map the time between Armageddon being lit to Kusok and the time for him to move. There was a bit of a delay there. So that's that bulb coming up, and he didn't know. And Kusok probably, that was just the window Kusok really needed to get some damage onto him. I mean, the Annihilator, Armageddon, sorry, he's the key reset tank right now. He's the key tank to stop the cap or to at least put some damage across right now. So the lower he gets, the harder it gets for Tornado Rocks to actually consistently reset. The rest of their team, they've got back around the backside of the hill here. So Kusok just wants to slap around that STB1 as much as he possibly can, make his life a living hell. And Armageddon doesn't really know where to put himself right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Wombats, as usual, on a map like this, where you know the other team is going to be fairly static, you can just pummel them down for a few minutes. You got 10 minutes to play on the clock instead of 7 minutes. So you can just use artillery every 40 seconds. You have a chance of hitting. If you hit enough, you got enough of an advantage, you can actually push a back chat to take down the Armageddon, get unspotted, use the bushes, kill Vorsic, kill Positive, or at least do a lot of damage, have control for that left side cap. I guess for Kusok, next shot will be towards these two T110s, a little bit of a cap on the way. You can see Tornado Rocks have the TVP and the back chat towards the right side, so I guess they want to push through the middle if a cap does start. And they also have a back chat in the middle of the Annihilator who can go through. And you know, the thing is, Tornado Rocks did good early damage to Just Cause, so they will easily be able to kill him and move on to the rest if it does come to crunch time.
Again, Kuso looking back in the direction of this STB. I mean, that definitely makes you feel like, again, Wombats would love to push forward, but they're not the kind of team to take undue risks. And look at that, you can see Positive now moving forward. This might be a nice little lineup for him if he can get it. He'll probably fire in a couple moments. He was Positive, has slowed himself down. Shot comes in, going to track him up, do a decent amount of damage as well. Positive slowed right on up here. Vorsen now wants to come up though, had to deal with Bishop, and still dangerous times with Kusok being unthreatened. He can just sit back and take shots like that all he likes.
Tornado Rocks are playing more Wombat style, and I think that's where they're suffering. Like, they're being slowed down, just like Kansas Crew was, by Wombat's methodical play. Wombats are so much more experienced as a team than Tornado Rocks, and you can see that's definitely coming into the equation. Bishop having a bit of a peak, not going all the way, and still Kusok trying to hit the shells, trying to do the damage, not worrying too much about the time. And Kokoro even playing a little bit more aggressively. Let's see if Kusok can land this next one.
This is pretty ambitious, actually, towards those two mediums. He did take the shot in, didn't connect with anyone there as well. But that's the only shot he really had for him at the time. Maybe he could even have just held that for a bit. And I guess I was hoping for some devastating damage. But again, towards his mediums, not easy to connect. Bishop now being threatened somewhat, has to back up a little as Positive moves up. He takes a hit from Povel, and then Positive goes down. And there's a bit of a pattern to this, guys. Keep an eye on that one. Kusok waiting for a reload. It feels like Wombats are forever waiting on Kusok's reload here. But they might not have enough time. Vorse is pushing around. Karitz is just circling. He knows he's a 30-90 in the middle of the map, and they might try and just pick that off when they can.
Tornado is just going to push straight through the middle and go for these T-57s. Coca-Cola took down Lucic, but it's not a big deal.
Bishop is going to be, 4v1. Not ideal. He might get a couple shots, maybe two if he's lucky. He can bounce a few away, actually, and that's pretty good to actually survive that much damage. Now, Wombats can at least get some back, and they've hammered Tornado Rocks. In the last few seconds, Tornado Rocks have lost about 3k or not more, if not more, hit points. Now they want Povel. They want to get him out, get him away from this one. But it's only Vorsen right now dueling with him, and Just Cause can sit back behind the water tower, make a few shots. Positive getting lucky there as well. And there it is. Diador can come forward, get the pick. And Wombats do have a lead. They have a lead in tanks as well. But positionally, Tornado have been able to clear Wombats away from this side of the map.
Yeah, they also hold down in this position, which is absolutely fantastic. Those autoloaders are going to struggle to get into this game now. I think Wombats now need to play aggressively. They need to go forwards. Kusok's lit in the background as well, but he's safe for now. And I just think it's about the brawl. Like, whoever's going to play better. And, oh, Kusok, with such an easy shot at 100 meters, managed to miss 4-6 engine bay. Brilliant.
It's unfortunate. I mean, he lined it up. It's a bit of RNG at the end of the day and doesn't work out. But Tornado Rocks now moving together as a bit of a unit. But Coca-Cola still picked off Armageddon up the top there. He can do a bit of damage back towards Diador as well. And Diador maybe biting off a little bit more than he thought he could chew. He's dropped super low after that engagement. But now Breakneck comes in. The problem is for Wombats, it's one at a time. It's staggered out. They need to go together just like Tornado are. But at least Karitz can get the finish. There's 3 shots left. It's enough to actually kill both of these tanks now. But he needs to be pretty sharp on these. His Diador is in that bat chat.
I think Kusok really needs to hit the next shell. It looks like the last push is coming in for Tornado.
Well, Karitz just has to hang on. I think he can. A good roll will get the finish. Oh, not quite. And Karitz has dropped down to 40-odd health. He needs to stay safe, but SC Dynamo is going to be able to finish him off as he backs around the corner. A 1v2 situation. Just Cause is a one-shot.
Let's see what reload Kusok's got. I think he just shot, so he's got another few seconds. Actually gets spotted. He's going to try and put some pressure on and make SC Dynamo point his turret towards him. So Just Cause gets the shot and maybe gets his second clutch of the game.
Yeah, clever stuff there. You see Kusok coming forward, and it does work out. Just Cause gets the finish there, and Wombats on tanks looking better and better as this series goes. They're 5-2 right now. I mean, another round here puts them on match point. This is Muravanka. This is a map we don't really see them play at all.
I mean, we see like 58-60% of the time the defensive side wins on Muravanka. So the fact that Wombats managed to do that was fantastic. I mean, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game were useless. I mean, Kusok didn't do that much damage. The biggest point here was actually, I completely didn't see it. We actually weren't on that side of the map. Was that Lucic in the MX-3090 died almost instantly. Like, completely. Like, obviously the idea was send Lucic to control Karitz and a TVP, so the rest of the tanks can push in, take care of Povel, take care of the, I think it was Bishop there in the T125 or whatever, T57, kill them all, and then move on to the hull down positions. But of course, the problem was Lucic died straight away, which allowed the TVP and the bat chat just to go around, go straight through the middle, and just absolutely wreck Tornado Rocks in that central area. They received about 2,500 deficit in terms of hit points. Third point is that they couldn't take care of Kusok. They couldn't go up and kill him, because if they did, there would have been some other tank shooting them from behind. So really bad stuff. And Tornado had a perfect start. Just Cause was brought down to a one-shot to a very aggressive The Annihilator.
So you see this now on the map, right? Look in the bottom right corner. That's where Luciquel is now in that 30-90. He ended up pushing forward, and he got picked up, I think, by the bat chat of Kuritz, who, by the way, some very important plays coming away from him.
Dude, the guy's been on fire. Like, considering he basically had to learn how to play the game from Sim 54, I mean, he was okay. He's always a good player. Like, he's way above average. But compared... Yeah, exactly. Compared to, like, Just Cause, Breakneck, Povell, I mean, Povell was the best player in Team Dignitas School Bus. Kuritz was definitely lagging. He's played fantastically well throughout this whole match. Great play. You can see there 1.5k damage. Okay, I mean, it's not like out of this world, but he's done enough. He's done enough for his team. And when Kusok needs to play artillery, it's good that Kuritz does it. Hits the shells when they matter, basically.
Now Wombats and Tanks looking pretty damn good. A map here or around here, or would be the map for them, would mean that we go to Ruinberg, and I mean, what we used to call a 1-1 map, and that's all Wombats would need to win this one out. So pressure mounts for Tornado Rocks. And in fact, if they don't have an incredibly strong Ruinberg, they are going to be out of this final. And we will have our new champion in the Wombats on Tanks here. But now you can see Luciquel coming up. I mean, Wombats on defense here as well. Like you said, it's definitely biased in the defense's favor, unlike I incorrectly pointed out earlier on. Let's see now if Wombats can hold Tornado Rocks at bay, who you have said are a bit more effective at being an aggressive team. They're bringing 2 T57 heavies as well.
Yeah, the thing is, Tornado Rocks hasn't had a chance to be particularly aggressive. The one thing that Wombats does well, you know, they did against Kansner, is that they just slowed them down. Tornado Rocks have been effective this season, only losing to Synergy. Tiebreak against Wombat, almost a tiebreak against Wombat. Of course, they lost the 2 on Ruinberg. And Ding, I mean, apart from that, they've been impenetrable. They've been so aggressive, so good. And it looks to me like Wombats want to play a similar style. Just use Kusok. Tornado wants to play a similar style to Wombats. Use Armageddon, the M40, to just do initial damage, try and come away with some sort of hit points lead, and then choose a weakness, choose an opening, and go for it.
Interesting setup here for Tornado, in that they actually have a T57 heavy, if not 2, over in the forest side. So maybe hoping for Wombats to come at them on that part of the map here. They definitely haven't really supplied any sort of aggression to them. They're sitting back in a bit of a typical way, I feel. We see this a fair bit. You see those bat chats up the top there, right back around the corner. Breakneck in the 110 E5. He needs to stay fairly mobile. Can't afford to be static because Armageddon will be able to punish. He's looking to do just that right now. He's looking towards the top of that hill and that artillery piece. I don't know if he's going to find too much himself there as this Bishop and Povell wrapped around the side. Povell in the same position we saw the Armageddon in last round. He was just getting harassed by Kusok. Yeah,
and Tornado Rocks has started the pressure on in the cap, but the interesting thing is that they got the T57 and the Batchat and I think an MX 1390 there, or I think a single shot tank. So maybe they want to come from the side, but actually T57 started to move, and so has Wombats. They actually want to go a little bit aggressive here. The MX 1390 and Batchat starting to wiggle a little bit. Could be a trap here from Tornado.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. They've got a couple 57 heavies in here as well. This is going to be absolute carnage if Wombats go forward into this. And Kuritz, at the very least, well, I mean, Positive doesn't really know where the push is going to come from. Kuritz, thankfully enough, is being careful about this, not going too far up. Just Cause hasn't exactly thrown caution to the winds, but now they've both been lit as well. Positive pulls back straight away, gets back off towards the side, might even try and go around here. But the 57 heavies haven't had the chance to do too much damage. The Annihilator already fairly low, I think, is that Batchat trying to cap things up. But he's still on the point, still going to get done. Now we need to see some resets.
Yeah, resets have to come in now for Tornado Rocks. So they need to get an angle onto the Annihilator to be able to keep him at bay. The Batchat, sorry, is very skinny, so it's hard to hit for Povell. The Armageddon's got another 10 seconds left on reload, so Povell's safe for now. FT Dynamo's in the background, so of course he's going to be able to shoot when that does come. I don't know, I think Tornado Rocks can be pretty happy here. Positive getting spotted in that right side again. And actually, Coco and Kusok now on the rotate with a double Batchat. Bishop Povell also starting to wrap up a little bit. And considering that Positive at least is on that right side, You know, it could be a good idea.
Why are you taking this? I mean,
Batchat's in behind.
yeah, he's going for a bat chat, but the problem is that those 57 heavies are going to come in, and it's going to be the trump card here for Tornado Rocks, at least in this forest. Just Cause comes forward, he needs to be so careful. He'll spot Vorsic and Diodor eventually, but it's too late. He's taken so much damage now, and Vorsic is just unloading on the man. Just Cause will at least finish off positive, but a 2v1 trade happens for Tornado Rocks on that side of the map. But elsewhere, the Annihilator goes down, and it's an even ledger in terms of tanks, but Wombats have the health point advantage. They've stopped the cap, they've pushed him off, and the cat's out the bag in terms of those two T57 heavies on the east side.
The great thing about this map, though, is that the Armageddon is so hard to root out of his position because the M40, M43 can just sit behind those bushes. So Wombats really need to commit to actually kill him, so FC Dynamo can run away and the Armageddon can potentially survive.
Crazy aggression coming out from the Wombats here. They want to play a bit of Tornado Rocks-esque style of play. You said that maybe Tornado want to do a bit of a Wombat strat. We might see the shoe on the other foot here. Again, Armageddon can sit back in the corner, wants to try and fire towards Kusok at this stage by the looks. And they're not going to go towards FC Dynamo yet. They smell something. They know the 57 heavies are afoot. They're around the place. They'd hate to run straight into them.
And Coca-Cola's just going to go for the artillery. He really needs to actually hit the shot. This is the shot that counts for Armageddon.
So he needs to get rid of that Batchat immediately. He takes a hit though. Massive hit towards the Batchat. He doesn't finish him off. And Bishop still gets in there. Somehow against the old Coca-Cola has survived. But that was a direct penetration from that shell. Ridiculous amount of damage. 15 points of Coca-Cola left on this map. Not too shabby at all.
Pretty lucky that M4, M43 can do 1,850 average, so Coca-Cola getting a little bit lucky with that old RNGesus, but it's enough, and Wombats now ahead. They took down the artillery, they're one tank ahead, but they do want to try and push forwards. Tornado Rocks need to play aggressively now.
Those 57 heavies get in a good position. It could be nice out here for Wombats. Breakneck trying to hold back, but he's getting hammered up on the hill. One more shot, it'll be Luciquel. No, Vorsen gets the finish, and Coca-Cola, I mean, he's just back around the corner. Not much he can do but sit and watch for the moment. He's lit. He doesn't want to poke FC Dynamo, but he does. He gets a little bit of damage off of him. Both teams are working with 4 tanks right now. Coca-Cola is the closest, but also the lowest. A quick push from Tornado will have him cleaned up. Coca-Cola would be lucky to get away with just one hit done, but look at that. The firing squad on the hill starting to rain it down on towards Tornado Rocks. Huge amounts of damage being taken. Luciquel just got hammered there. Diodor also very, very low. And with Coca-Cola stuck around the building, he knows he's safe. I mean, Luciquel has to push him, and to do so, Luciquel makes himself vulnerable to the tanks up on the hill. So Coca-Cola sits there, puts his feet up, maybe reclines his chair like he normally does, and just waits.
Both teams are playing so well on that hill. Obviously, Tornado Rocks played so well to go around and go for the aggression, taking down that T110E5. But then Wombat said, hey, we can do the same. We can get the peaks easily. Did about 2,000 damage, and Pavel actually, the highest hit point tank for Wombats, wants to start to bring some of Tornado Rocks to that one-shot marker.
You're going to see another Batchat come around from the side as well. Someone needs to get Coca-Cola out of trouble. But now, Tornado Rocks pushing off the cap. They want to go towards Pavel. But where's the counter wrap going to be for Wombats if that was the case? They stop the cap. They just want to fight here. But look at Kusok. He's now in a position to threaten Luciquel. Maybe Lucic has to push forward and try and get rid of Coca-Cola, who, yes, he's still alive. They're around the back of that building, just chilling again. And now Luciquel could be threatened by Kusok as he pushes forward. He wants to get these shots in, finish that Object 140 off. He's going to get the shot. Even Coca-Cola may even try and get involved here. 3 points of health left. He takes a shot from the 140, but great trade there for Kusok. And now great positioning for him. Diodor drops down as well. Shows himself. We have a 2v3. Vorsen and FC Dynamo are low, and Vorsen was on reload. Still is for now. But so is Bishop. So is Kusok.
It has to be all about Bishop, right? I mean, he is on reload right now in that Batchat. And he's the one who can really finish this game off. He can finish FC Dynamo and Vorsic. Vorsic 1.6k, obviously, he can do in that T57 heavy, and 2,374 hit points left for Wombats.
Coca-Cola can finish FC Dynamo as well. A decent roll will set him in good stead, and now he can flank as well. I mean, this is the thing. It's a numbers advantage for the Wombats on tanks. It doesn't even matter, I mean, what Tornado Rocks are bringing. If every tank gets to fire a shot, it's going to be the Wombats to come out on top here. 3v2. FC Dynamo up on their hill, wanted to push Bishop away. He may have just isolated Coca-Cola in a small way, or maybe he's trying to bait the other Batchat to come around the corner. Trying to get Bishop to take down FC Dynamo, but he misses that shot. That's really important. The 57 heavy stuck on the other side of the hill. He's still trying to crest up there, and FC Dynamo has to back right away. Tornado Rocks, as the attacking side, must finish the round via a cap. And Vorsic Finally got himself up the hill. But now, I mean, Wombats are just going to go back down. They can just play for times here. Again, FC Dynamo misses another crucial shot. That's going to be his life. He's out of this, and now 3v1. Not good news for Tornado Rocks at all.
Also a two-shot right now. It only takes 2 shells to take him down. 622 hit points. He's been spotted. He's been cornered. And Bishop's on the patrol.
1,400 on health for Bishop. That's so much. I mean, Vorsen hopes to get an entire clip towards him, and he won't have the time to do that. There's just no time. Tornado Rocks, they're about to fall to a match point here. Wombats on Tanks are going to be 1 round away from victory, and Kusok now fancies getting involved. He wants to try and push towards his 57 heavy, clean him off the map, and let it be done. We'll be moving on, of course, to Ruinberg, and this is really, really bad for Tornado Rocks. 1 shot in, 1 more to follow here. It's going to be the finish. Surely it is. Straight towards the cheeks of the 57 heavy. Kusok gets the finish. Wombats take it to 6-2. Ollie, Ruinberg is next. This is a disastrous situation for Tornado Rocks.
This is terrible. I mean, this is just the worst possible situation they could think of. Why are these guys smiling? Have a smile on your face, guys. You're almost this close to beating a team that kind of destroyed you 4-7 on Continental Rumble. So I'll be a little bit happy. I mean, you got Positive there smiling, and he's in a very bad position with his team. But looking over that round, obviously the biggest move was there. Kreitz and was it Kreitz and Breakneck with the Batchat and the MX-3090 on the right side, pushing around against the Batchat of Tornado Rocks. They took it down, but there was a T-57 there as well. So T-57 managed to get the reply on them. They both died, but that's still an overmatch situation. That's a 2 for a 3 situation, a 2 versus 2 situation. That allowed Wombats to go forwards, make the shots, kill these tanks. Armageddon playing the artillery piece as well didn't really do that much work as a member. And at the end of the day, we haven't really seen a team play from this position which Wombats won that well. Great maneuver here from Tornado Rocks actually to go against Coca-Cola. They bring him down to a 1-shot, so close to dying, slightly higher order would have taken him out. But then Tornado Rocks just take the bait. They go for Coca-Cola. They've received 2,000 damage from a very good push from Wombats onto that hill, and that's the final straw for Tornado Rocks.
And Coca-Cola just sat behind that house, blowing bubbles, chilling out, and he survived the round as well. That's the most shocking thing. Went down to
sleeping
15.
like this. I mean, this guy's amazing, and he's just sleeping.
It doesn't have to be awake to play the game, I guess. Not bad.
Playing in
Bad
his
at all.
dreams, boys, because this is the dream scoreline for Wombats.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to be holding that trophy after 1 more round here, and you can see the Tornado Rocks even Diodor's thinking, all right, boys, now we are up the creek. We need to win both Ruinberg rounds to put ourselves back into this game. Not a good scoreline. I'm almost translating word for word here. Get your act together, because it's time to fire up. It is match point. Kusok, another big game for him. Call him a weak link all you like, but that was a strong performance from the man. 3.7k for him. And Vorsen as well, holding the fort down with that T-57 heavy, but it just wasn't enough, even with Armageddon blasting away on that artillery.
Exactly. He just really tried to do as much as he could. He took down the Batchat. He did some good damage at the end, but T-57 heavy in both rounds didn't really make enough damage. You can see the Annihilator, 0 damage right at the bottom. Huge, huge loss for him. And what can we say? Wombats on match point. It's a 7-rounder, obviously being best of 7, first to 7, best of 13, first to 7. So Wombats on Tanks, they really have to screw up now 4 rounds in a row to be able to lose it. And, you know, obviously Cancer Crew have done that before, but I'm not sure Wombats are capable of doing the same thing.
They're looking a little bit too well drilled right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Ruinberg, it's going to be here. This could be the final map. And in fact, it probably will be if statistics hold. Wombats on Tanks are not a team to be surprised so easily on that offensive side, and they will eventually get that opportunity. But for now, it is time. Wombats defend for the championship, for the title of European Championships for the 2nd season running. Tornado Rocks may have had their measure at the Continental Rumble, but it's time for revenge, and the Wombats will defend in the red. The easier side for them, no doubt about it. Let's see if they can hold as Tornado Rocks desperately fight to stay in the game.
Wombats' last season in the WGLEU could be an absolute victory for them. If they take first place here, if they win this next round, it'll be truly incredible. SC Dynamo going to the pretty normal position for the Batchat, hold down, get spotted early on. And Kreitz, of course, has to be careful of those blind shots from the IS-7s and Batchats of Tornado Rocks. FC Dynamo receives a bit of damage, but that's not too unusual. He gets that tree down for a later point in the game. Tornado pushing towards that 2-cap, and you've got to remember, I mean, Wombats lost 2-0 to Tornado Rocks in their match in the regular group stage, both on the attack and defense.
That's right, that was a big loss for them as well, losing the defensive side, not what really should ever happen here. So it's Luciquel actually in the CDC. He's taken some damage himself, so Wombats have staked their claim pretty well, already up by about 4k hit points. Even Diador getting slapped up there as well in the FB215B. The first hit comes in towards the Wombats, and it's a negligible one in the direction of Breakneck here. So FC Dynamo's caught out in the open, and Bishop and Breakneck just going to wail away on that man. But Breakneck doesn't seem to want to take this shot. He may not have the angle. And the cap has started. He's got to be careful of those two IS-7s. There's a CDC on the cap. Tornado Rocks managed to run away with the game, but look at the northern push here as well. The Wombats are going to come flank around through that middle road here. So we'll see if they can hold in the middle for now.
But they got spotted. They got spotted so early on by a great position on F1. And that's going to allow Tornado Rocks to push into that eastern village that they want. Those IS-7s might be able to get control of this cap and just win via that.
And they might stay in the cap, they might push forward. Looks like they're going to push forward as we do see the cap timer now sort of increasing a bit. Karitz runs straight, head first into a bat chat. Breakneck has to hold on. He's in a very important position right now. The longer he hangs in there, the better it's going to be for the Wombats. And the shots are being bounced here by the Wombats. Even one going off the back of another, that FV215B, that's Coca-Cola. Luciquel goes low. He's not a crucial tank, but he's definitely an important piece. Pavel and Karitz are together, and Positive just going to barrel around the corner, and he's going to finish off Pavel, no doubt about it. He goes low, and Just Cause could be there. It's trading back and forth, but Tornado Rocks, they're low on health points. They don't have a lot to work with. They've only got one IS-7 left on the cap now, and that's Vorsen. The Annihilator is going to be chased down by Just Cause and finish off. That man has been huge today, and it's all about the Wombats. They're going to take it away. Tornado Rocks have 3 tanks left, and Vorsen can't even cap. FC Dynamo's on reload. He can't do squat right now, and the Wombats are going to roll through.
2 tanks left for Wombats on tanks. 2 tanks for Tornado Rocks. They have to try and hold on. They have to try and take down Breakneck. Coca-Cola receives some damage on the side, but it's not going to be enough. So many left for Wombats, so much HP on all of them, and it's only a matter of time, I feel.
Breakneck will push forward as the key went down to Vorsen, but there it is. Kusok gets the finish, and the Wombats on tanks are going to take it away again. Vorsen being caught, the last tank done. It's 7-2, and our European champions for the 2nd season of the 2015 bracket is going to be Wombats on tanks. They've done it again, and a stunning performance. 7-2. That's not even close, Oliver.
Finally, some smiles on Wombats on Tanks' face. They're serious. They're game on for the entire finals, but we do see a smile on Karitz, Just Cause, Coca-Cola, and Bishop. Happy as you can be, winning their 2nd season in a row now. Incredible stuff. They are the most successful European team. This is their last season in the European League. And what can we say? It's been an absolute blast for them. They came through the group stage in 2nd behind Tornado Rocks, losing to Tornado Rocks, and they just blew them away. It wasn't even close. I mean, it felt to me like they kind of suffered the same fate as Kazna did, where they lost the first 2 maps, or the first 2 rounds on Mines, and then from there it wasn't even a competition.
Yep, absolutely, and you can look at them now. I mean, 2 consecutive titles here as well. I mean, these guys are no strangers to being on the shape, but it's time to present our 2015-2016 Season 2 victors. It's Wombats on Tanks.
So we'll be seeing them next at the Grand Finals 2016. Might be a rematch there between them and Tornado. And I can't wait for that one, of course. These 2 teams will be going through with the most points for the European region and representing us over there. So fantastic match from that man, Kusok, the team captain for Wombats on Tanks. And, you know, what can I say? These guys have probably had the most bittersweet time in the Wargaming League Europe of any team. They've been 2nd place so many times. They've been 2nd place so many times to the Russians as well, you know, to Hellraisers, to Na'Vi, to everyone. And finally, they're on form.
And they're looking better than ever as well. And what better time to shape up and show up just like this? I mean, the next stop for these guys, like you said, Oliver, it's going to be the Grand Finals 2016, and these guys are coming in as red-hot favourites. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here at the caster desk. For myself and Ollie, we're going to sign out now and pass it over to our experts to break down that massive 9-round performance. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, guys. It was great listening to you, and thank you for all the entertainment. Now, there's not really much to say about that game. It was a very dominant performance by the Wombats. They continued what they did to Kazna, just in excellent form. Dead Zone from Penta, thank you for being here. It's been really a pleasure with you. What did you think of the last game?
It was a great game. Wombats dominated. They came back from their tough win over Kazna, and they managed to win it, and it was a great series. They played really well.
And Mr. Mojo from the Kazna Cruise clan. Your team didn't make it here, but we saw the guys who beat them at least win.
Oh dear, GLEU. This is what I think about my predictions. My crystal ball totally failed me. I'm gonna say it now and never again. Yeah, they deserve. They came from 0 to hero, like back from the dead and won. What else to say? Like they really deserve this.
Absolutely. And Hector, from the community team, how has it been on the desk?
It's been emotional. We can say that.
What did you think of the final performance?
Just like Deadzone said, it was a domination from Wombats. They were riding high from the victory after Kazna, and they were kind of focused, you know, and they just rolled with it.
And I believe Mojo has one question for you.
If you ask about matchmaking.
Right, so I think that's about it from us here on the desk at this Season 2's finals from European, but there are many more events to go on the road to the grand finals. There are other regions that haven't finished. For example, on March and I'm going to get the exact dates, March the 5th, Asia has their Season 2 finals to decide who's going to go represent them in the grand finals, and I'll be there, so I hope you'll be there too. But that's not it. The teams here in Europe aren't over yet. They actually have another tournament, which is the ESL Major on the 8th of March. Now, the qualifiers are going on right now, and you guys can actually go ahead and compete to see if you can be as good as these guys. So if you thought you were watching this today, that's easy. We'll prove it. Let's join in and see if you can make it. Some teams are already there. Penta, Ding, Kazna, and Oops. So if you want to be alongside those, have a go at it. Otherwise, it's the grand finals, and that's on the 8th and 9th of April. And that's going to have the best of the best from all regions, including China, which are the complete unknowns beyond that bamboo curtain, and we're going to see how they perform this year. So we have so many events coming up. Make sure you tune in. I will personally see you in the beginning of March the 5th in the Asian region. Other than that, thank you to everybody at home who's been watching and supporting and cheering in chat. Thank you everyone here, to the players, to your champions, the Wombats, and I'll see you next time.